Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Six Nations. Round 2 has started off with a hiss and a roar and a close fixture between Ireland and Italy, but England, there was nothing close about their game up against the Welsh. A confident victory for that English side, and now they sit top of the table, kind of. I guess you could say there are going to be a wee few adjustments to the table in this round, but they, after round 1, were sitting in that first place position with the full 5 points, and now a lot of potential to get something going here up against Scotland. But Scotland are a team that have been England's bogey side for a little bit of time. 4 of the last time that they've met in these Six Nations, Scotland have been able to get themselves the victory in that regard. But what we will be doing is looking through at the starting lineups. We're looking at what is to come in this Six Nations competition, because there is absolutely plenty still that can happen here. But nonetheless, it's going to be a big game, and hopefully a very competitive one like we saw just before. Looking through at the starting lineup, Nathan McBeth in the front row alongside George Turner and Xander Fagerson. For the Scottish in this contest, Gregor Brune alongside Scott Cummings in the locks. Then Jamie Ritchie, Rory Jarge and Jack Dempsey as that number 8 option. In terms of the backline, Ben White and Finn Russell will once again be the combination that they go with. It's intriguing because Russell in this matchup, some would think that we were going to see maybe Marcus Smith or someone along those lines at some point throughout this game, but instead they've gone with the veteran George Ford. So Ford versus Russell, going to be quite the entertaining battle, and then Mitchell and Ben White as the starting 9s. For this game, Jamie Dobie keeps a spot out on the left wing side. Still no Duhan Whanamurva. Sione Tuipulotu and Hugh Jones in the middle. Kyle Stain comes into the starting side. And then, or in fact, he was on the starting side, I believe, last week rather than Kyle Rye. I always get me Kyles confused. And then Tom Jordan there as that number 15 for the English. Alice Genge, Luke Cowan, Dickey and Joe Hayes as the front rowers. Maro Itoje into the starting lineup. He did make his way off the bench up against the Welshie partners with Ollie Chisholm in the locks. Guy Pepper, Sam Underhill and Ben Earl as that loose forward trio. Mitchell and Ford, like I mentioned, in that 19 combo. Henry Arundel scores tries for fun, and I would not be one bit surprised if that man can get over the line here again. Just has a way of finding tries each and every time that he does take to the field. Also out there on the park, Fraser Dingwall and Tommy Freeman in the middle. And then Tom Roebuck and Freddie Stewart as the number 15. But those are the starting lineups, ladies and gentlemen, for this game. Come on, Scotland, says Ian. And okay, let's go, says Jan there. Where's Duan Whanamurva? He is nowhere to be seen in this lineup. I thought he was in the Six Nations squad, but I could be wrong, or maybe they are just resting him for later on in the competition. I would consider this game a pretty big one, though, so maybe based off Dobie's pace, they've decided to put him in. Unpopular opinion, Scotland win by 2. But the thing is, it may seem unpopular, but at the same time, when you think about it, Scotland, 4 of the last 5 games up against this English side, they have won. So at Murrayfield, even though they are underdogs, is it really that crazy of a prediction for Scotland to be able to get the victory? And let's go, says Jan. And there I will mention we are sitting currently around about 20 minutes away from the kickoff, starting relatively early. There's plenty to break down from that last game that we just saw between Italy and Ireland, as well as what is to come in the Six Nations competition. I can tell you right now there are a couple huge games that are taking place next week. In the regards of the Six Nations, the Italians, after a close game with Ireland, they now have to go head-to-head with France. And that is in France as well, although they did all right in the Irish hometown. So, who knows, maybe they won't be too bad off. And in that game either, Wales will be playing up against the Scottish. Now, Wales and Scotland, neither of those sides have got themselves a victory as of yet. And if the Scottish were to lose this game, more than likely neither would have a win heading into round 3. So that could be a battle of said wooden spoon. And then England versus Ireland. The English, they are sitting 1 win from 1. They got themselves the 5 points from that first fixture up against Wales. The Irish, they had a tough game up against the French. They came out firing in their next contest and managed to get themselves some form of the points in 4. And I will say they only came out firing in that last 20 minutes when we saw some changes made for the Irish. But yeah, at this point in time, it's a big game. And that will determine more than likely second place in the Six Nations competition, the winner of that contest. And if it is England, then perhaps even enough to get them towards first in that regard as well. We have got there great commentary for the Italy-Ireland game Is he ever really looking forward to this? Ray, Scotland supporter in England. Scotland supporter in England. Does that mean you've got a little bit of a foot on each side here in terms of if England were to win, it wouldn't be too bad? Then I guess as a Scottish supporter, you probably don't really want the English to get over the line here, do you? And tomorrow we're having a nice big braai tonight, omelette with boerewors, cheese filling and some sauerkraut. Homemade yoga, says Bruce. And also wager a prediction with me, Hamish. I'm going 16-18 in favour of the Scots. See, my prediction game is terrible for the Six Nations, mainly because I just always get it wrong. But I'm going to be a bit of an annoyance for the Scottish. I'm going to go 31-15 in favour of England. That's a pretty brutal scoreline. Actually, that's a terrible scoreline for Scotland if this game's at Murrayfield. But I don't know. I'll see. Like I said, I'm always wrong, so I'm hoping to be very wrong in this case, and we see a very close game between the two sides. But we'll go 31-15 England. It could happen. It might not. It probably won't. In fact, it won't. So we'll see what the actual score is at the end of said 80 minutes. But it's going to be tough. Scotland did look lackluster in their game just recently up against the Italians. That happened in round number 1 of the Guinness Six Nations competition. In that fixture, we saw the score be 18 points to 15 in favour of the Italians. England, they had a much more comfortable win in that matchup against Wales, 48-7. The sad reality for the Welsh is that may not even be the worst scoreline they experience throughout the Six Nations competition, but hopefully they can find their stride at some point and perhaps cause a little bit of an upset along the way as well, but it's going to be tough to do. And at the end of the day, these sides, they're relatively competitive up the top of the bunch. At the stage, it seems to be at the moment top 3, bottom 3. So we'll see whereabouts Scotland. If they win this game, they can possibly put themselves top 3 for this competition. If they lose it, though, they're probably fighting off that bottom 3 situation for the next few weeks. But we'll go here. We have good there, and just like that, England will lose. I mean, I've jinxed sides before. In the sevens, it used to be that whoever I backed to win always lost. And that happened for like a good 10 previews in a row. And then I tried to reverse psychology it, and it didn't really work. So I feel like, yeah, whoever I pick to win normally will not. So we'll wait to see. But I think that Scotland, if they fire, they can be dangerous here. But it's just so difficult to know whether or not they'll go from playing extremely rough rugby last week to all of a sudden playing like $1 million. I took the average the last 6 games between the two, 18-16. That sounds like you've done a lot more maths than myself. I just picked a scoreline that almost sounded all right and went with that. As a Scott-England win, no-brainer. But doesn't Italy versus Ireland today prove Italy is just as much better team than previously? Says JP. It does, but the sad reality for the Italians is there's still a chance that they finish bottom 3 in that regard, which is not a bad thing because, you know, they are in a scenario where sometimes they would finish last in the Six Nations. So they have come a long way. But, yeah, I do still feel like, I mean, they've got France, they've got England as 2 of their future games. It's not going to be easy for the Italians at all. But who knows? Maybe they can pull off a big win in one of those 2 contests, or at least keep it close like they did up against Ireland and find their way maybe into 3rd. But I don't think I'd give them much of a chance of going much higher than that just for this year. I think they needed that win up against Ireland to be able to make a real contender's chance of going high in the Six Nations. Did you see Zimbabwe beat the Aussies? It felt kind of good. Says Lowell, I did see that. I don't think it changed too much in that group, did it? Did Australia get knocked out? Or would they get knocked out at the moment, the way that they're sitting? Or would someone else maybe let them back in by the time it's over? So currently, yeah, Zimbabwe are sitting ahead of the Australians. Sri Lanka are up there too with 2 wins and 2 for those 2 sides. But I think Australia will probably find their way back in at some point. And they'll have to get a couple big wins to do so. Scotland aren't playing for anything because they no longer believe in their coach. They win, the coach stays in the job. The motivation isn't there. Says Power Bite. Oh, you run him at the barn in. Says Annie. And Scotland can be Braveheart, says Ruth. Yeah, there's no denying that the Scotland side have got some absolute superstars in their side. I do like the look of their bench for this matchup. Matt Fagerson off there. George Horn, he had an instant impact when he made his way up against the Italians. Darcy Graham. It's quite interesting that he's in a scenario here. He doesn't really get a lot of starts anymore for the Scottish. I mean, we're past the days of Duan van der Merwe a little bit as well, at least in selections for the Six Nations comp. But I feel like there's still spots for them every once in a while. I feel a bit of grudge against the Scots for having some South Africans in their squad. I have no idea why, because it's good for those guys. The box are loaded already in those positions. So yeah, at the end of the day, like, they qualify to play for Scotland. And, like, if they weren't making the Springboks team anyway, surely they're better off playing rugby somewhere internationally, right? Rather than being guys who just never get that opportunity. Scottish Bravery, or bravely want their coach gone, and thus there isn't the same motivation. Says Power Bite. Oh, they're just showing the highlights of the wickets actually in that South Africa versus New Zealand match. I've got it on currently because the coverage here in New Zealand doesn't start till 5:30, which is 4 minutes away, and they will raise their game against us. They always have a bit of chip on their shoulders when it comes to us, says Sebastian. Yeah, see, there's something about this game when it comes around, like England versus Scotland has been very decent for the Scottish in terms of like 4 of the last 5. And during that time, there have been up and down form patches for the Scottish team. But yeah, when it comes to their match up against the English, they just fire up. And that's what they're going to need here. For the full 80 minutes, they can't afford any sort of lackluster moments because England are very clinical. And maybe some would say that they weren't as clinical as they could have been up against Wales. But that's a crazy thing to say because of the fact that they got 45 points and the fact that they could have had 70 if they were clinical shows just how dangerous of a side England currently are. And I know that people don't like hearing praise for England, but that's the reality of the way that they're playing rugby at the moment. They've got some really nice depth. Their bench, I talked about the Scottish bench, but currently in this game for the English, they got Jamie George off of their bench. They have got also Tom Curry there, Henry Pollock, and the late replacement Finn Smith on there too. So plenty of excitement still to come in this one. But what I will quickly do, ladies and gents, is show you not just what happened the last week for these sides, but also what is to come and the odds for this matchup. Starting with the Scottish. They had their loss to the Italians. They come in as relatively big underdogs in this game up against England. Just to put that in perspective, the Italians at kickoff were $7 underdogs. I believe Wales at kickoff are $21 underdogs, so they probably don't count in this scenario of comparison. But I believe Moana Pacifica and Super Rugby Pacific were about $3.30 underdogs up against the Fijian draw. But they went on to win that game. So it just shows that even an underdog can get over the line every once in a while. And I also, once again, feel like it's a bit interesting that Scotland are considered such an underdog when they have a very expansive record up against the English as of late. And the next week, that game's going to be important. Wales versus Scotland. Either two sides that have found a little bit of rhythm or two sides that could have 2 losses by the time that round 3 gets underway. Looking through at what England have done so far. They got that 48 points to 7 win over the Welsh. They are the favourites for this game, of course. And then next week, they are up against Ireland. That game's at Twickenham Stadium. And the Irish, even though they got that win over the Italians, they'll feel like they still have a bit that they need to do to bounce back. Get their Six Nations campaign back on track. A win up against the Italians was good, but they probably need to be even better if they do want to beat England in that contest. Let's go Scotland. See, there's Wombat in there. But yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to let me know your score predictions for this game at Murrayfield. We are only 10 minutes away from the kickoff of this match. Should be an absolutely incredible one, or at least that is what I'm hoping anyway. I feel like it's one of those matches that could easily either be extremely low scoring or we could have a fired up contest that just keeps on going and keeps on delivering. Throughout the match prediction, Henry Arundel to score the first try and the 12th to 16th minute. Says, Roger, do you know what happened in the cricket? The cricket is still going at the moment. But it looks like South Africa will be able to get themselves the victory over the Kiwis just the way that it sits. Tell you what, it would have been intriguing though if not Zimbabwe, if Afghanistan had beat South Africa in that super over, the first one, and then South Africa had beat New Zealand. That would have been a very interesting finish for that group. Although at the moment it seems like South Africa and New Zealand are just top of the bunch anyway. So both will go through. Should be an easy game for Scotland, says Stephen. And it'll be fiery, all right, says Sebastian. And there too. Yeah, neither of these sides want to take a backward step. Plenty of talent out there on the park across the board, whether you're looking at the loose forwards. I think there's going to be quite a bit of busyness coming from Scotland early on with Jamie Ritchie, Rory Darge and Jack Dempsey thrown in there too. But, yeah, how do you stop Arundel from scoring tries? Because not many sides have worked out how to do so as of yet. How Zimbabwe's beating the Aussies, it was a big result. And at the moment, Australia are outside of the top 2 of their group. Believe it or not, if it doesn't overlap too much, I want to do some of the Cricket World Cup. Sadly, the ones during the week haven't been an option because I've been working from the early hours of the morning. So it means that most of the games overlap with when I'm trying to sleep. But maybe during that round of 8, we'll try and pick up a few games of the cricket along the way, if that is something you guys are keen for. But the final of the World Cup probably does overlap with a game of something, I would say. So we've got to keep that in mind as well. I'm never good with score predictions. I don't even bother trying, says so. See, I'm a little bit the same. I only give one as a technicality, but I know that I'm going to get it wrong. So it's more so I'm just chucking it out there, and I just know that it's not right. Unless it's to do with the sevens, in which case I actually did somehow get one bang on the money. But since then, I haven't even been close. Now, national anthem's about to be sung. What happened in the Italy-Ireland game? In the end, Ireland were able to get themselves the victory, 20 points to 13. It was a close one, a weird finish. Jack Crowley went for a kick towards the corner from 5 metres out and ended up missing touch, or kicking the ball dead. So that was the end of that game in really weird fashion. I'm just looking through at the moment for, the T20 World Cup finals actually on a Monday morning here in New Zealand. So there are no games that overlap with it for now by the looks of it. The semi-finals of the Cricket World Cup may have potential overlaps. Friday morning. No, they might all be all right. So maybe we'll have to try and get a little bit of the Cricket World Cup going if you guys are keen for those streams later on. Of course, England and Scotland both taking part in that. Come on, England, says Alec. And Scotland by 2 points, says JD. And 21-17 in favour of the Scottish. And 30-14 in favour of England. Please give me, going to be brutal, says Kyle. Yeah, this one, I believe we're going to see a lot of big hits between these two sides. Ellis Genge versus Xander Ferguson. That's one that's always intriguing at scrum time. Matt Ferguson, he's going to be making his way off the bench later on. Cannot believe Zimbabwe beat the Aussies, says Sebastian. Yeah, it's probably the upset of the Cricket World Cup so far, and possibly will be throughout the whole tournament as well, unless something drastic happens throughout the other games. But yeah, it was an absolutely huge one for Zimbabwe. England by 12, says world champs twice for his prediction here. They are just about to have the national anthem. So once again, looking through at the starting lineups for Scotland, it is Nathan Macbeth, George Turner and Xander Ferguson as the front row. Gregor Brune alongside Scott Cummings in the locking duo. Then in the loose forwards, Jamie Ritchie, Rory Darge and Jack Dempsey did manage to score himself the try last week up against the Italians. Ben White as the number 9 with Finn Russell slotting in as the 10, the talisman for this backline of the Scots. Jamie Dobie out on the left wing, Sione Tuipulotu and Hugh Jones in the middle of the field with Kyle Steyn and Tom Jordan making up the rest of the team. Looking through at England, it is Ellis Genge, Luke Cowan-Dickie and Joe Hayes at 3. Mato Itoje returns to the starting lineup rather than being off the bench. Partners with Ollie Chisholm as that locking duo. Guy Pepper, Sam Underhill and Ben Earl as that number 8. Alex Mitchell and George Ford. I'm intrigued to see how they go. Ford can play a very controlled type of rugby game. Finn Russell likes to play an unpredictable one. So every once in a while, maybe Ford will get lured into playing a little bit similar to that. And it could end up with some open space. But when he's got the class in the back line that he's got available, of course you're going to be able to score tries. In this case, for the English, Henry Arundel. He scored 3 tries last week. Fraser Dingwall and Tommy Freeman, they made up the midfield, and they continue to do so for this game. Tom Roebuck and Freddie Stewart as that number 15. No Marcus Smith in this game. Can't get over that TMO call. TMO Rob Diddley says, Mike, I also, though, heading into that stage, Caelan Doris didn't get a penalty in that breakdown for winning the ball, which it did look like it should have been a clear one. So from there, Ireland kicked that ball into touch, and then it was that counter-attack off the quick throw that Italy got themselves the chance. So theoretically, that all wouldn't have happened had they just given the penalty to the Irish in the breakdown. But yeah, it is a bit of a gut-wrenching one for the Italians. I feel like they weren't aggressive enough at times throughout that game. But, they did well. It was probably a good result overall for the Italians. They would have been happy enough receiving that losing bonus point. Let me know when the game starts so I can switch from the cricket, says Lyle. We will do just that. Yellow cards, here we go. And come on, Scotland, we are fully behind you guys, says Dennis. I predict a yellow or a red card at 15 minutes. And also, with Jamie Joseph being the coach of the Highlanders for the 2026 Super Rugby Pacific season, how is he still in the running to be coach of the national team? Because if he becomes the coach of the national team, which by the sounds of it he is about to be, means that someone else will take over from his Highlanders' responsibility. Genj clearly hated that handshake, says Flesh. And yeah, at the moment they are just having a bit of a catch-up, some of the Scottish players with, I believe it is Princess Anne. They're about to get ready to go for the national anthems. Of course, the English national anthem is very short, so it means that it does not take long to get through both sides. Scottish, they are going to be playing Flower of Scotland just around the corner too, which is always something really special when it takes place at Murrayfield. Crowd fully like to get behind it. And just like the crowd will be behind the Scottish side, try and get themselves a win. Worst referee in the world, says JD, and short and bad, says Big Rig. Any weird controversial cards during the Six Nations thus far? Yeah, just the norm, pretty much. Like, there's no tournament in the world at the moment that you can get through without someone getting yellow carded for something. And in some cases, red cards. England has some of the greatest music songs in the world. Make that our anthem, says Big Rig. I guess it's just paying a bit of homage to the king, though, isn't it? Who's Arnold Clark? Is that the sponsor of the Scottish kit? They have got it written below the Scottish badge. Pierce Skillman having a conversation there with Princess Anne before they do get underway. Good point, Mr. Big, says Sebastian. Big smile on the face of Adam Hastings there too. The Scottish players all look very happy. Like, there's big smiles on the face. They're all having a great time. But I feel like those smiles are soon to fade. As soon as these two sides line up and realise that they're facing each other, those smiles are going to turn to just gritting the teeth and getting ready to absolutely smash the other side when they do get the chance. Right, the anthem's just about to take place. England terrible flag, says JD. What's wrong with the flag? The flag's all right, isn't it? Do you like the Switzerland flag? Because it's kind of similar in terms of the design, or the Denmark flag also. Do you like crosses? We have got there. G'day, mate, says Jason. Welcome in. Hope you are doing well. As a Welsh lad, I wouldn't shake the hand of any English royalty, sorry, says Fleshin. Starting with the English national anthem. It's going to get messy. Yeah, there's going to be a yellow in this game, isn't there? At least. Maybe even a red card. I like the Welsh flag, says Big Rig. Who is going to score the first try in this contest? The exact player. Let me know, ladies and gents. Who do you think gets over the line? I think Arundel's got a good chance, mainly because of his try-scoring abilities that we've seen throughout all of the games that he has played. He's also the only player I've just actually checked that is below $10 in terms of the chance of scoring first. So he is given a really good chance. But $4 underdog Scotland have now dropped to. So they've actually ended up going a little bit further out before the start. Are they cheated at flags? Everyone else has the stripes and the dots and stuff. Wales has a bloody dragon, says Big Rig. And a win is a win, the good and the bad and the ugly. Now go on and hammer them, England. I love the Scottish anthem, says Lyle. Tell you what, you wouldn't want to be afraid of heights if you're the guy playing the bagpipes up on top of Murrayfield. A Flower of Scotland being sung. I think one country is better than another in 2026. It's a bit retro, isn't it? Says X-Math. The crowd fully in voice here at Murrayfield. This is where Scotland, they can cause a whole big problem for this English side. It's been talked about the whole way through already that it's going to be England versus France in the final match of the Six Nations to determine who wins this competition. But Scotland, 4 times out of the last 5 that they have met with English side in the Six Nations, they have got the victory. So they may just be able to once again halt those English plans and open up the door for the French to be able to walk in and take the title. And ahoy, says Cal Mack, welcome in. Just about ready for the kickoff of this contest. Just the national anthems just about to come to a close at Murrayfield. Looks like a decent crowd attendance for this one. I know it was mentioned about earlier on that there were a few empty seats, but I think they have filled up pretty quickly now. Sione Tuipulotu. It's just singing the national anthem. He is just a battering ram. And last week he was disappointed what he saw from his Scottish side. He said that we have made a lot of errors. The narrative that the interviewer was trying to say was that Gregor Townsend, the weight is all on him, but do the players have to take a little bit of the responsibility? And Tui Pilotu, he stepped up and said, look, we played a terrible game of rugby. We are the guys who have to try and step up and be better. And we'll see whether or not that's the reality here for the Scottish team. We used to hate with Scotland, Wales and Ireland. Says Sebastian, England earned the hate protectors, says Calmac. They're just showing their very strong looking starting side for the Scottish. But some very handy players out there on the park for the English here too. I'm quite excited for this game. They're slightly running behind. I think they're going to be kicking off about 2 minutes after it was expected. Rugby's oldest international contest, says Stephen. And as of late, one of these two sides have been getting the slight better of it, that being the Scottish. But now England, they have found a vein of form that continues to flourish. Come on, Scotland, says Ian. Some big players off the bench for these two sides too. A 5-3 for Scotland, a 6-2 for England, including George, Henry Pollock, Tom Curry and Finn Smith to really change the game late if it's close. Referee in charge of this one will be Nika Amushikeli, the Georgian referee. Piari as an assistant, Inyeki as another assistant, and Marius van der Vesterhuizen will be the TMO. This game just about to kick off at Murrayfield. It is overcast. That's because it's almost night time as well, though. But it looks like there's no rain, so that is good news. 6-2 split for England, says Kyle. It certainly is. And it's hard to see Scotland winning this one. Their last performance was just appalling, says Lisa. Yeah, it would be a massive turnaround. But at the same time, you know, this rivalry is the one that normally fires Scotland up to their best rugby. The countdown, 5 seconds away from the kickoff. England will be kicking off this game from left to right. And we are now underway at Murrayfield. And it's going to be kicked into the 22 in the hands of Jack Dempsey. Ben White inside of his 22. Looks like he's going to be going for this boot up high. He's got 3 men joining that ruck. Force it back. And we Scots are massively inconsistent, and that helps us here. You see, England wouldn't have known anything to expect other than they'd know that Scotland want to fire up for this game. 23-10, South Africa against the All Blacks International. Who was the referee? I have no idea, but I'm not sure also what that has to do with England versus Scotland. Unless, of course, it was Nick Amushikeli as the ref, but I don't think it was. Now, the ball's going to be thrown in. Maro Itoje, I should say. A big rolling ball for England. That makes 15 metres, and it is still moving forward. Eventually, it does go down in the advantage, is it? No. Going high with the box kick, slapped back by Arundel. Tui Pilotu ends up with the ball, goes with a grubber in mind. It becomes a foot race. England looking like winning it. Nicely taken by Alex Mitchell. He's going to kick it straight sideways. Scotland will have the great early attacking chance here. And England has some big boys, says Big Rig. And then they have big boys coming off the bench too, just to back up the big boys in the starting lineup. But, of course, the bigger they are, normally the quicker they get fatigued. My money's on Scotland. I think the English are counting their chickens too soon, says Mike. No sort of shortage of pies in England. To be fair, that's the way it should be. You know, day without a pie is a sad day. Although I've had many days without pies, and they were sad. So there you go. Nice of all. I've here to stick around for the big one, says Eric. Now going across to the left-hand side. Tui Pilotu hits it up. 22 metres out from the line here for the Scots. Ben White. Inside ball from Richie. Finds Jack Dempsey. No Van der Merwe for this game. But they have got Darcy Graham off of the bench in this case. So one of their wingers still to come on. Now Tom Jordan tackled. 15 metres out from the line. Ben White goes back across. I believe that would have been Cummings. Rick's last stand. What's your prediction? I've gone 31. What did I go? 31-15 in favour of England. It was my end prediction, but I'm actually hoping it's a lot closer than that. And I kind of said that prediction because normally I'm very wrong. And well, no Van der Merwe. That's huge for England, says John. Although Dobie's handy enough. Might be quite a match-up for Tom Roebuck. Now Dempsey trying to bust his way through. Advantage in favour of Scotland now. They can continue to play these phases. Xander Fagerson. Oh, is that an injury? No, he is all right there. It looked like he was a bit slow getting back up. Sam Underhill, loose ball picked up by Roebuck. They'll go back now for the Scottish penalty. This is straight out in front of the post. 3 points on the cards if they want it. Or do they want to go corner? Aggressive early on in this game. They're showing there. They just got confused between the English and the Scottish coach. They just showed Gregor Townsend and they put Steve Borthwick, England coach, up on the screen. Scotland 32, England 12. Says Sergio, and the option of going for the 3 is the one that Scotland have decided for. Going for the 3 so early. Says so. Russell just having a conversation there with Amusha Kelly about one of the decisions made. And Jack Dempsey shoved 2 blokes away. He's a very dangerous player, Jack Dempsey. He did manage to score himself a try in the match last week up against the Italians. Him and George Horn, the only 2 try scorers. England at the moment, they don't look like they're back the 10 metres, but I believe they would be. Finn Russell now getting ready to line up this kick. Does get it down the middle and makes the score, now sitting 3-0 in favour of Scotland. That's the whitewash avoided. I mean, that's one positive, I guess, to look at in the scenario. I think Scotland are scoring much more than just the 3 points, though, from this game. This ref mate is killing rugby, says JD. Now they're showing England head coach. They found Steve Borthwick and they got the right title coming up. And this time, George Ford kicks this one off. Down towards the Scottish 22. Trying to go for that pass backwards was Arundel, but it's a knock on. The best team Scotland ever had, on paper anyway, says Blickies. And yeah, I think that's what makes it so frustrating for a lot of the supporters. The fact that on paper, they're dangerous, but in reality, and sometimes what happens on the field, it's just the complete opposite. As the referee, our red cards allowed today. So it is Nika Amusha Kelly, the Georgian referee, charge of this match. Now scrum feed here for Scotland, sitting 25 metres out from their line. This man just keeps on going. The sun is nearly out, says Katzenell. Yeah, it's currently 5:50 a.m. almost here in New Zealand. It's still dark outside, but it won't be by the end of this game. 902 kgs for England in their fort back, 887 for Scotland. A little bit of the advantage, the extra 15 kgs. For the English. They should have gone for the corner. They seem strong enough to maul, says so. Yeah, although I guess it did look like a pretty decent chance to just take the easy 3. But at the same time, you look at the English scores from recent times. Not so much up against Scotland, but just in general. They love a high-scoring fixture. But, I guess control is one thing that Scotland will be looking for in this game, just trying to get their hands on the ball as much as possible. Scotland 5 million, England nearly 60 million with Scottish oil. So here's Cal Mack. That ball's going to be fed in. All nut, didn't even get it in. Is it going to be the free kick now awarded to Scotland? Right, looks like Finn Russell's decided he's just going to boot this one downfield. Can't kick it out on the full though, so just goes into the 22 of the English. The back, Freddie Stewart, looks to return fire with a kick of his own. Russell waiting for it. Going for the kick downfield once more. Playing the aerial battle. The moment, George Ford now, he decides he wants a piece of the pie. And goes straight back to Finn Russell. Finn Russell's just standing in the same spot at the moment and they keep on going to him. Oh, he tries to run that ball. Russell, that is a different tactic from the fly half. Ball is there now. Dempsey goes back across to the right-hand side here. White finds Gregor Brun. And probably the score, says Eric. Rolling this one back again, White. It's going to be a lot of boots taking place throughout this game, I would say. Although chasing after this one nicely, showing intent was Kyle Stein. It's knocked backwards, so play on is the call. Ben White, back across now. Finn Russell shovels it on to Tui Pilotu. Wide skip pass on the outside, just bounces up to Jamie Dobie, who cuts inwards. And evening goes Scotland, says Martin. In there too. I didn't see you sneeze today. Is that the lucky charm for the Scots, says Joe? Maybe. The hay fever was kicking in a little bit during that 7 stream earlier on, but I don't think it was too bad between Ireland and Italy for the hay fever. Now, Finn Russell goes on the outside, finds Kyle Stain, cutting back inwards, gets around the tackle attempt of Mitchell. Now breaking the line, beautiful inside pass, going off now into the hands of Rory Darge. They're only 20 metres out, but a lack of ball security, although the penalty. Double blow of the whistle, yellow card for England, and it's all kicking off early. So it was cynical from Henry Arundel. Now has to make his way back to off the field. He was only offered about 8 minutes ago. But Henry Arundel, yellow card there for cynically playing at the ball. Why is Duan van der Merwe not playing? Gregor Townsend's probably the best man to ask in that regard. He liked to back Jamie Dobie last week and he's decided to do it again. And England look like the All Blacks in disguise. So here's Stephen. We started badly, says Sebastian there. Look at a shade forward, says Eric there. As well, what was guard for? I missed that. So pretty much Arundel didn't get back to his feet. And they've said it wasn't quite legal. It actually didn't look too bad in that replay, but I think they said he didn't go back through the gate, in which case he was slowing it down cynically when it was the breakaway from Scotland. Why are England never ready for Scotland to be good? Says X-Math. It's a good question, but it is at their own risk, the English, because Scotland love to play this side. 4 of the last 5 times, it's been won by the Scottish. Aparati has just beat the Black Caps. Says Lyle. Now Ben White. They have got themselves a man advantage for the next 9 minutes of this game. Slinging pass across the Sione. Tui Pelotu trying to show off his stepping. And also power game in the middle of the field. England with a bit of a counter ruck from Sam Underhill. Duan van der Merwe out of form, says Dunk. And in detention, says Eric. And there too. Now White goes across to Hugh Jones. Pops it off to Finn Russell. He's tackled by Maro Itoje. And how are we doing? I ran to Spa, needed coffee. Says Roos, so just the 3 points at the moment for Scotland, but we have seen the yellow card for England. The early stages of this game. Ben White. Looks off left. Finn Russell taps it on. Out to Hugh Jones. It's a foot race with Maro Itoje. And Jones goes in down the wing. Scotland lead 10-0 at Murrayfield. And that is a dream start and a complete change from what we saw last week. How do we get into form without playing, says Joe. And Scotland might be the only team I like in the Six Nations, says LB. Well, you'll be liking the start of this one. And we have got there, Hamish, sorry you won the cricket match. Or we won the cricket match. It's no worries. Both sides are going through anyway. And we have there, how's it, Hamish? Craig is back in St. Francis. Well done, good call. Hamish says JD. Who's the ref? It is Nika Mushikeli. In charge of this one, says Sebastian. But he went round the outside. And Maro Itoje, he would have been very annoyed that he was one-on-one. Hamish, calm down. We qualified for Super 4. We just need to beat Canada, and we are 100% in Super 4. Jacob Duffy shouldn't even dream of playing for us again. Replace him with Will O'Rourke. And we have got there, come on, South Africa. Our B team, show them who's boss, says Martin. And 10 bloody 0, we're doomed, says Eric. And can we start again, please? That one's going to go over from Finn Russell. So 10 points to 0. The score on the board. What do you think of the first round of Super Rugby? It's pretty decent. Couple close games involving New Zealand sides, which was fantastic to see. A lot of sides were error-ridden, but that always happens in the first round. They slowly seem to build into it as it goes on. Moana Pacifica, brilliant performance from them up against the Fijian draw. I think that was the upset of the round. Even though the Highlanders beat the Crusaders, I still think Moana winning up against Fijian draw, for me, was slightly bigger. Because they were given no chance heading into that game, but they really should have been. I want to start, says Dunk. And if Scotland win, the world is happy, says Martin. Yes, first try, way to go, Scotland, says Ian. Is England still on the unbeaten run? They are. So if Scotland were to win this game, that would bring it to a close for the England side face Ireland next week. 11 and a half minutes through this game. Ben White again, 30 metres out from his line. Scottish making the most of that man advantage. No, Arundel back. You're the Wars. Hard to say. They did all right in pre-season, though, by the looks of it. That one's going to be dropped forward by the English. Almost became a penalty to Scotland, but instead will just be the scrum. England will never capitalise or compete with South Africa. The last time the two sides played, it was 1 point difference, wasn't it? Or was that a different game? Maybe it was a different game that I'm thinking of. But they're normally very close, those two sides, when they play William. We have got there, this cheers me up. I got mugged on Wednesday. Guy hit me with a baseball bat. Tried to steal my bottle of whiskey. Got mugged on Wednesday. Guy hit me with a baseball bat and tried to steal my bottle of whiskey. Were you just walking around with a bottle of whiskey on you, Calmac, or had you like just been shopping or something? Because this just seems like it's quite a hectic situation that you've just mentioned. So hopefully you're all right. But at the same time, how does a scenario like that happen? Going to be kicked downfield from England towards the sideline. One second, we go like this. And we go like that as well. Oh, sorry, 9 points difference, England versus South Africa the last time that they played. And then I think the time before that was in that Rugby World Cup where it was 1 point separating them. When it's France and Wales game, it is at 4 a.m. New Zealand time tomorrow. So happening in 22 hours time. Are you a Kiwi, says William? I am. I can probably guess where you're from too. But now going off to the right-hand side, Jack Dempsey. Going away to the right-hand side, George Horn passes across there. Finn Russell, chance to go on the outside. Beautiful short pop pass. There, passed on the outside to Kyle Stone once more. Cutting back inward. Scotland are 3 metres out from the try line. Now Ben White goes across Finn Russell. Tui Pelotu wide. Goes to Jamie Ritchie. Scotland score again. 13 minutes into the game. What has happened since last week? Whatever Scotland have done during the week, it's worked. Because they are now sitting there 15-0 after 14 minutes. I was there about 10 years ago. Beautiful place, says William. Did you go North Island or South Island or a little bit of both? Do let me know. I know most people end up visiting the North, but South's quite nice too. What is going on, says William. And Alice Genge is a wild fella, can't be trusted, says Rick. The score in this game now, England are $2.90 underdogs. That's early on in the game though to have them as $2.90. Don't get me wrong, Scotland have started very, very well, but is it going to continue, or is there going to be a moment where the momentum shifts? High scoring game, absolutely. Scotland have now already got more points with that kick going over from Finn Russell than Italy had throughout their game up against the Irish throughout the 80 minutes. They are 3 points away from having as many points as Ireland had in their game throughout the 80 minutes. Go Scotland, says Pix. And brilliant Scotland, more tries, says Ian. Yeah, the big pass on the outside to Jamie Ritchie, who just got to run that one in for fun. Gregor Townsend celebrating that one too. That's all because you predicted England to win, says Big Unit. Yeah, what did I predict for Scotland? I said Scotland would score 15. They've already scored more than that. So the reverse psychology may have worked quite nicely here. Queenstown, Fellaini into the shot over River. Nice. See, Queenstown's still very nice, and a lot of people go there now for like around New Year's. Whatnot. I just love this, says Martin. If it's not the Scottish, it's bad, says Boy. And 17-0 says JD. Now kicked downfield by Scotland. Going into touch. England just going to slow this one down. We've got to remember they are still down a man here, England. So they will try and use up as many seconds as they can. Do you see how well they manipulated the English defence? West East, just like the AB, says LB. Yeah, and I think also having no Arundel, it means that there's always going to be a gap somewhere. Went on the iceberg, pissed down all day. Never been so cold in my life. You know, it gets quite chilly down south in New Zealand. It's not too bad now. We're 10 degrees Celsius, which is actually pretty warm for this time of the day. Now, nice take from Alex Mitchell. It's all Hamish's fault, says Eric. Okay, I'm stunned. Scotland is making me eat my words. And what is going on in the Northern Hemisphere of rugby? I see soaring like the Rugby Championship, says Roger. Ball's in the hands of England now. They've been told to use it. They have to find their way back in this game soon, though, England. But it's that bogey team of Scotland. Still seems to be consistent. Penalty goes the way of the English. That is for obstruction. Milford Sound is cool. See, I haven't actually ever been to Milford Sound, which I really should because I literally live on the same island as it, like in terms of the South Island, but never have made my way over. I'll have to do that at some stage, hopefully within the next few years. There's a hole on the right side of England as Scotland can see it. Says so. And Scotland must just go on like they do. And if we put out a team of Starmers, says, as mentioned, go Scotland, says Andre there. They're now England. They have their chance to get an attack going. They've still got 45 seconds where they will be without Arundel, but that will fly by. Already 18 minutes almost passed in this contest. 22 metres out from the line for Luke Cowan-Dickie. They need this line out straight. Itoje claims just about. It was well done by Sam Underhill as Turner was looking for the turnover. Now Ben Earl stepping forward. I don't think they'll be going too wide with this ball here, England. I think they'll have to play it relatively safe because they can't afford an interception for the Scots. And Scotland shouldn't do what they did against Argentina. Says Lisa. I'm sure every Scottish person is now very annoyed that you've reminded them of that game. I was told that that's the forbidden game we don't mention. Now, Alex Mitchell across there to Sam Underhill. Looking for the steal. There's Xander Fakers, and his hands are down on the ground. Almost got himself penalised. It sailed down the Sky Tower about, if my kegs, or legs, I think they might be from William. Oh, turning into a rolling maul there. Scotland managed to hold it up. That one's going to go down. There's 4 Scotsmen in there for 1 Englishman. Alex Mitchell's not happy with the decision. The only benefit it gives the English is they're going to be back to 15 now. Iran's going to smash England into oblivion on the last day, says Dazza. I just love rugby like this, says Martin. Do the Scots still want Townsend gone, says Southkid. I'll tell you what, they're not playing like a side that you'd be thinking that they did because they have come out firing. Big time. I still can't get over the fact that it was 17-0 after 14 minutes in this game. Even with a yellow card against England. But now it's scrum feed here. England, though, have to try and find their way back into this contest. Outnumbered more like, says Eric. And let's go England, says Dale. Go the Scot, says Hockey. And Hamish Wears Roof, she was here earlier on, so I'm sure she'll be popping in and out throughout the stream more than likely as well. Now scrum feed for the Scottish. 10 metres out from their line. And a big sideways push penalty to England. That's a big one. Ben Earl loved it. And now they'll have the chance to either go tap, scrum, or perhaps line out. And overstep, says JD Dan. Scotland is winning. They are winning big time at the moment, but England are trying to find their rhythm once more. George Ford kicks this ball into touch, and a 5-metre line out is now on the cards for this English side. And England scrum dominance. And come on, Scotland, says Stephen. English media have been hyping up England for weeks. It's probably because they've been playing a lot of good rugby the last little while for the English. Now, don't get me wrong, terrible start in this game. They couldn't have asked for worse, but they're not out of this game at all. Which is why I was surprised they were $3 underdogs. Now rolling more is going backwards for now. Luke Cowan-Dickie, though. Now it starts to march forward here for the English. It's going to be dragged down just shorter. At least it looked that way. He is a couple metres short of the try line. Tried to reach out there a little bit further. England have got numbers short side. Who are they going to use? Ginge is waiting out on the wing for an opportunity. Looks like he's going to join in here. Ollie Chisholm goes himself. Ball's there. Luke Cowan-Dickie. 3 metres out. Dragged down again. I'm looking at Ginge. He's lurking here. He wants to go for that pick and go. He got close in the last game, but did end up getting held up in the end. Wants that redemption now. Backline. Ford goes to Dingwall in the middle of the field. Looking for the steal with Sione Tuipulotu. Can't quite get it. Ford again. Short pop pass. And Arundel scores it. And they go in just like that, England. I mentioned about it as well. Arundel just can't not score in games at the moment. He is so clinical in the way that he plays. Although I think they want to check this. Is that what we were hearing? Or was the referee just blowing the whistle to try and calm everyone down after the English struck? But Arundel, in this match, I saw he was the most likely out of any player to score a try according to all the odds. So he has kept that one and got that try there. And Scotland the Brave, I'm a block but goes Scotland, says Gary. It's way too early to rule out England. Absolutely. It's a brilliant start once again, but this game's far from over. And that one has gone over now. Scotland all of a sudden become underdogs once more. Nice one, Arundel, says Richard there. He's only recently made his way back out onto the field after his yellow card, but he just has such a dangerous support run. And we have got there, let's go boys, says Sebastian. Scotland scrum, Maul D line out. So scrums, they look like they're the weaker of the two teams. Rolling maul, England have made a lot of metres from the 2 times that they've attempted it. And then line out wise looks a bit more 50-50. There were a couple opportunities to steal the ball, but Scotland not quite getting them, but close. And Scotland just walking back to the halfway line now. A little bit less urgency from this team. It's very well done from England to get themselves back in the game. But now kicked off. It's claimed by England inside of their 22. England hype, but avoiding playing South Africa. Says Daz, I don't think they really avoided them. It's just the calendar year you have teams that you don't face, and they didn't face them. 2024 they played each other. Oh, we miss Gaza. Says Gary in there. Is Mark doing the he's doing the reviews and previews, I think, but he's not doing any watch-alongs at this stage, is he? I know that he didn't do the Blues versus Chiefs, which I thought that he might have. And I'm sure he's pretty busy this time of the year as well. Now George Turner, ready to throw this one in for the Scottish. I just love to hate the Pommies. World Rugby, rugby baby girl, says Joe. Snowing out here on the Norwegian west coast. Nice. I kind of miss a bit of snow, even though I've only experienced snow like 4 times. I feel like every once in a while you need a bit of snow just to... Oh, interception. Sorry. Just making big groaning noises. Now off to the right-hand side, though. Here comes England once more. Kick that was wasted. A kick in behind does not work out. And Ben White given the chance to kick it back down the field. Now George Ford runs it forward, gives it off to Alex Mitchell. Crowd wanted the forward pass. Mitchell wanted the offload, but can't quite free up the arms. Gangel, was that played by Scotland? It is. Penalty goes the way. In the middle of the field, though, they already had the penalty advantage, shooting in from the hotel in Italy. After a week of snowboarding, plenty of time for England to get back into it. Absolutely, they've got time. Italy playing a brilliant game up against the Irish earlier on. See, I've never been snowboarding either. Some of the other Kiwi lads do like a bit of snowboarding. I tried skiing once for a school trip, and then someone ended up smashing into a shed because they couldn't stop, and I decided I'm just a beginner. I can do without snow, to be honest. I love the sun, says LB, and first time I tuned in, man. I have about as much luck with rugby as Mick Jagger with football, says William. Oh, they've called for the post here, England. Not sure about this choice. I feel like it would have been a better option to maybe try and keep on going aggressive. And England must know Italy is waiting. And I really like rice cake. Good on you. What type of rice cake? Do you have a flavour that you like, or just rice cake in general? Did you miss the conversion? Conversion did go over. I think the scoreboard was a little bit behind, but now it has updated itself. 25 minutes in, 17-7, the way that it sits. But this will be a chance to add the additional 3. I go Scotland even if I support the Springboks, says Timothy. It's on overload in Aberdeen. Snowboarder in Queenstown, Wanaka, and Christchurch, says SW. I think we've actually got a video on the channel from snowboarding in Queenstown in like 2016. I wasn't there, though, for that snowboarding trip, but I did edit it. But that is going to be the additional 3 points for England. 17 points to 10. Are you in New Zealand or live in the UK? I am in New Zealand. So it is currently sitting 6:08 a.m. Name some traditional Kiwi food. Well, it depends on where you go about in New Zealand. Like a roast lamb is something that some Kiwis would go for. Fish and chips, as we say. You say it with the accent. Nicely taken by Tom Jordan there. Around the halfway line. Pavlova, but don't tell an Australian that because there's that rivalry of who actually invented it. But I believe it was New Zealand. Now Kyle Steyn stepping down the wing. Scotland looking to counter here. Ellis again trying to cover a bit of turf. Be able to get back. Finn Russell thought about going for the switch again. Oh, man, says Southgate all kicked in behind. Ellis Genge is the man chasing after. He's coming. Oh, no. He's dropped the ball. It's picked up by Ben White, and the try is scored by Scotland. They've got themselves their 3rd try of the match. But Genge, how did it end up that he was the man who had to run back and try and cover the ground? Out of everyone. Arundel's back out there. They had 15. Where is the defence for England? We see George Ford here. It was because of Finn Russell breaking the line a couple of times. Ford got lured in. And then from there, just a mistake from Ellis Genge as he was running through fish and chips cod here in the UK. I think we are predominantly elephant fish where we are. But I think some have shark, I think, even for their fish and chips, or some places do hoki. It just depends on where you are. Blue cod and Murrayfield is normally the way to go. We have got that England having a mare. Mitchell kicking possession away was with disastrous results. Finn Russell, yes, just snuck that one over. That came back very nicely, making the score now 24-10. We have got there, it's like the Keystone Cops. One moment, I must have missed that. Oh, the White Island with methane gas, strong stuff. And I'm a box, says Gary. I'm pushing chips, says Kyle. Or Carl, I should say, sorry. My mum is Scottish, says Gary. She will be very happy at the moment then. It's 24 points to 10. And hope Scotland win. I'll be good for the game there, says Richard, and goes Scotland, says Ian. And if the Scots can beat us, we should stop playing for good, says Sebastian. I love to see the stats for Scotland, 13 and 14. Says LB. They've been busy so far. Hugh Jones has been all over the park. Kyle Stain doing very nicely too. My great-granddad is Scottish, says Timothy. All rolled us backwards off Maro Itoje, but Scotland have ended up with possession once more. Already 29 minutes in. It's going so quick in this contest. Kicked high by George Ford once again. Commentary says Russell's moving like a sloth at a day spa. I don't know what to say about that analogy, but you could say it. I mean, he wasn't exactly motoring Finn Russell in that case. He's gone for the kick and behind, playing a bit of territory. That ball's going to bounce infield. So Ford's there once more. Currently, the territory battle. England started off not too bad in it, but now they're starting to lose it. Ben Earl going for the step inwards. Breaks through 2 challenges. Shocking by England, says Ian. Now Maro Itoje. Brilliant first half, though, from England just at this point in time. Now Genge will be fired up after making that mistake. In fact, he will well and truly want to get something going here to make up for that mistake, maybe scoring a try of his own. Now George Ford, that one's going to be a little bit too deep. Pressure on Russell. It was slapped on by Tom Roebuck, so it will now be the scrum for Scotland inside of their 22. Is he only a born Aussie? I think so. The game, the ball, the pitch, the everything is going against England right now, says so. Hope England gets humbled, says Martin. Flower of Scotland says the Owl there. Alice Genge on your team sheet. Yeah, he is. He is playing number 1 in this matchup. Have I spelled his name wrong? Oh, it's Ali Genge again. It's still got Ali. It was actually wrong last week, and I guess I just left it. Poor Alice. Tell you what, if he scores a try, I'll change it to Alice rather than Ali, because it is quite a hassle to change it, but if he scores, we better. Come on, Scotland for one more try, says Joe Man. Kyle Stain from South Africa. I think he's got some sort of South African connection. Do we have defence today? Says William. It doesn't seem like it in this game. We've had 4 tries throughout 30 minutes. As a Kiwi, it's hard to admit the rugby not boring. Well, great game, says Richard. You see, a few Kiwis would have got up early for this matchup, and they'll be more than happy with what they're seeing so far. All right, another scrum reset. England's scrum has been the stronger out of the 2. But Scotland should still be able to retain their own. I do not eat English seafood. They sold the water. Private companies who fill their rivers with stuff, says Cal Mac. So what do you eat instead? Like chicken and stuff? Now Ben White. Ball to feed in 12 metres from their line. And should Scotland stop England winning streak? Says JD. It would be a big one because I don't think many people were picking it. The people were looking at France. Penalty to England at scrum time again. So this is going to be a really big concern here for Scotland throughout this game. The Six Nations or the Rugby Championship, says Lyle. I like both. And I feel like there's no need to choose one or the other because you can have both, you know. George Ford getting ready to kick this one towards the touchline. Come on, Scotland, says the VV. And South Africa is so proud. And I hope Scotland can do us a favour, says says Timothy, I should say. Kick towards the corner here for England. They'll be about 7 metres out. Luke Cowan-Dickey ready to go for this rolling maul again. Now, I will mention it once more. England's rolling maul is looking really dangerous here. They keep on making metres from it. And it looks like it's going to shape up to do the exact same here. Scotland trying their best to defend it, but it still moves in the forward direction. I've been told do not change. Now it's going to be halted by Scotland, who try and hold this ball in. Luke Cowan-Dickie trying to wrestle himself to the ground. He does so. He drops the ball. It's a knock-on. And mistake there from Cowan-Dickie. I think he held on to that for just a little bit too long. A score now would be good. Very unpredictable, says Eldon, for the way that rugby has been. There's a lot of swimming in that maul. Scotland very lucky, says LB. Yeah, I think it's Scott Cummings who managed to get through. South Africa, Sia Kolisi. England, Maro Itoje. Scotland, Sione Tuipulotu. And looking at the history, it's great to see captains of colour. Says Roger. And Chully, what is Chully Bun? Is that, hopefully that's not like something, oh, sorry, I just realised what you're saying. You're saying the Kiwi accent. For chili bin. We don't say bun, do we? Like chili maybe, but not bun. Right? Chili bin. Chili bin. Chili bin. I'm not sure, what's that second one? Jandals, is it? And Scotland is doing well to apply pressure. But come on, this is England, says Ali. And Cummings is overrated, says Kelmac. A chicken in from Adelucia. I've been planting fruit trees all day. You're doing a great job there, Kiwi Lad. What type of fruit trees are you planting, Richie? I've wanted to plant a fruit tree here for a while, but I'm not sure whether or not our weather's nice enough to actually get decent fruit. Like, I love a mango, like, plant or a pineapple, but I don't think it happens here because of it's not hot enough. South Africa for Scotland. Go Scotland, says Bix. And bad from England, says Ricky. A big opportunity, goes begging there. 34 minutes through. Score still sits 24-10, but their scrum again has been very strong. It hasn't quite won that one. Now Sione Tuipulotu going in behind. They're actually going to look for a backline here from the Scottish. Big wide cut out pass to Kyle Steyn. Cutting back inwards, tackled by Ford. Great game, says Martin. And the thing with how hectic this game has been, it's flown by. What do you think about the Italian performance versus Ireland early this afternoon? They did pretty well in that game, the Italians. And, you know, to get 1 point from that game is great. But, like, yeah, I'm sure they would have liked a little bit more. Mango, oh, I love a mango. They don't really give us good mangoes here. I think a mango at the moment in the supermarket is like $9. Or at least it was the last time I checked. They may have changed price now, but it's very sad that mango price has gone so high. The ref could be more bent if he tried, says David. We have Gadias Porter playing for England now. I assume because of the penalties, right? But now nicely taken. Back across to the right. Oh, tackles made. It's very expensive. It is. And it's a shame because I do love a mandel. Mandel? A mango? I was reading that jandal one at the same time. Now, sitting 50 metres out on the halfway line. Kiwi fruit native to New Zealand. I think we grow it here, but it was originally from China, I thought. And $9 for a mango. Yeah, so if you guys want to help donate to the Mango Fund, be sure to flick through the dollars for them. I think I actually bought a mango on a live stream last year because we ended up with a Mango Fund. How's it? Ava's just joined. Can't believe the bloody scoreline. Yeah, Scotland have been on fire in the early stages of this game, but England are still close enough that it could go in either direction. I'm just going to have a quick look. I don't think it's actually $9. Surely not. Surely the price has gone down now. A watermelon's $9. I do like a watermelon. I'm going to end up going and buying fruit tomorrow if I'm not careful. Deep fried mangoes. I haven't had that. Is it? That'd be all right though, wouldn't it? It's kicking off, says Sebastian. Now going off to the left-hand side, carry for Guy Porter. Oh, sorry, Guy Pepper, I should say. Ends with the clean out on Ben White. Does get rid of him. Being told to use it again. England decide the aerial kick is the way to go. Oh my goodness, what has Arundel done there? He's put himself to sleep. That's dangerous, says Ben White. That was a terrible Scottish accent. What about watermelons? They are $9 rather than the mangoes. I couldn't find a mango. They might not be in season for us at the moment. Arundel getting a red. I think he might be. Because we've got to remember, he's had a yellow card here for Henry Arundel, and he didn't even attempt to jump for that ball. He came flying through. I think we're going to see a red card in this game now. Right. They're going to check this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arundel's done for the day, which is the last thing that England would be wanting. What is that score at the moment? Yeah, 24-10. If Mitchell and Ford continue to kick, Scotland will win this easy. Yeah, it seems like England don't actually want to run the ball, which is weird because normally they're such a dangerous side when they run the ball. We're going to see it now. Yeah, that's poor from Arundel. He's completely misread that. He's hurt himself in the process. He was going for the ball. Oh! Arundel never saw Stain by the looks of that. Oh, this is a tricky one, but they're going to say it's player safety that Arundel should have landed with Kyle Stain safer. So it's a second yellow card. And it's going to be a 20-minute red card for Henry Arundel here. So he got himself a try, even though he got sent off in the first half. He still is the only try for England, but it's a 20-minute red for Arundel, and it's a huge moment in this game for England. As for red roses, not red cards. Leave it to the English to disappoint. And WF is happening, says sports videos, and 20-minute red cards are nasty work, says South Kid. Did he knock himself out cold, says Roof? Not quite out cold, but like he looked like he was down for a little while. 20-minute red, so it doesn't even matter, says LB. Although it might a little bit. Last time that England had a yellow card, England conceded 2 tries during that period. And Awesome Goes Scotland, says Picks, and that would do a lot to the odds now. I can tell you that right now. They're just saying there that they don't have a like-for-like switch. It will be probably Finn Smith who has to make his way on, and then from there, maybe you move... Well, I mean, you can move Freeman to the wing, actually. They'll go Ford at 12, Dingwall to 13, something along those lines. But yeah, they have got Freeman as a backup option that they will be able to use. So it isn't the end of the world. You can't teach stupid. It was stupid, says Calmac. I don't really give you a record for yellow, says Kyle. Curtly Ardenson did that a few years ago against Bowden Barrett, says Timothy. What happened with England playing so badly? They haven't found their rhythm at all throughout this first half. Currently 2 minutes remaining of the first. They are down by the 24. Oh, nice take from Freddie Stewart under the high ball, though. If they can score again and only be down by 7 at half time, they're still in with a shot. And come on, Scotland try before half time, says Ian. And Kirtley knocked himself out cold. Now Luke Cowan-Dickey on the short side. Who's sat down at the moment? There's someone sitting on the ground. I think it's Jamie Ritchie. Yes, it is. Looks like an ankle injury or a knee or something for him. Ball's knocked back by England. Alex Mitchell's kicked it away again. Going to go into the 22 of Scotland, just perfectly giving them the ball back. I don't understand the tactic, I'll be honest. It just seems silly. Deciding to take it quickly. Smart move there from England, seeing as Ritchie is down. So really it's 14 on 14 for now. It's probably a very smart play from this English side to keep this game flowing that little bit more. Mitchell goes back across to the left-hand side. Maruatoje shovels it on to Alice. Genge, big collision with him. Oh dear, I hope Ritchie is okay. He's just come back from ankle injuries of some sort, hasn't he, as well? Jamie Ritchie, or something in his leg, I thought it was. I told you there's going to be 2 cards in this game, says Kyle. Did you say they were going to be the same guy getting the 2 cards? Little chip attempted in behind from George Ford. Tommy Freeman knocks it on. I haven't worked out the tactics from England as of yet, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. Come on, the boys. Says Marie. Is it Marie? Or is it Mari? I know that someone has it spelt that way in New Zealand, and it's Mari's. Oh, what a pluck out of thin air there from Freddie Stewart. Pops it up to Mitchell, tackled by Brune. And now, still down for Jamie Ritchie in back place. He's not making his way back up to the feet by the looks of it. Mitchell, back across to the left-hand side. Luke Cowan-Dickey hits it up. How many knock-ons have England made? Far too many, but I think probably about 5. Why are they box kicking? It doesn't make sense. Another knock-on from England now. Do they not want the ball? The ref is most biased BS ever. Says Ant plays. And now England's kicked it into touch. Up against a 14-man Scottish side because of Richie's injury. Well, okay. Half-time. 24-10. That's got me bamboozled. But I guess each to their own. Arundel going for another hat-trick, yellow, 20 permanent red. Yeah, the fact that he is the lone try scorer for England and he's only been on the field for about maybe 10 minutes throughout this whole game. Or maybe a little bit more than that. Maybe about the 25 minutes. And poor England, says Rick. And let's go Scotland. And social media ruined my watching. The replays of the Italy game, says LB. Yeah, unfortunately, like, that's the thing. As soon as you try and watch something that's not live, it's pretty difficult. I've learnt this time and time again. I've had many results spoiled for me pretty much every single week. We find out something that has been happening around the world. Brun, as in un. Brun, as in kroon. Says Shalom. Yeah, I think I exaggerated Brun just a little bit. I just get a bit excited and it kind of, I like the Scottish accent. Jack Dempsey hitting them pommy hard. Says JD, and no one will ever accuse current English coaching staff as being top notch. Never accused them. They were on a winning streak. They're currently on a winning streak. Scottish forwards are power. Says Mike. Brown is in down. Brun is in croon. Is it? Let's see if Pollock can save England, says Sue. Yeah, no one really likes Henry Pollock from South Africa, I've learned, which is quite interesting. Because, like, the thing is, one of the things that they said about him is he's only coming off the bench, but it's like, what is Quagga Smith? He's like a perfect impact player for the South Africans, but I think it's the confidence of Pollock that does rub people the wrong way. I'll be honest, I've tried to go through the stage of thinking that he's a little bit arrogant, but I just find it funny, the way how he just racks up everyone in the stands. Like that game that Northampton played up against Bordeaux in France, they were all booing him majorly, and it just, I don't know. I like it a little bit. It adds a bit of entertainment to the game. It adds that little bit of controversy. Why don't you cover cricket? The match of South Africa versus New Zealand was good watching. It was for South Africa. New Zealand got beaten badly in that contest, but we are hoping to do a little bit more of the Cricket World Cup maybe later on in the competition when there aren't so many overlaps. I've learned now that the finals and the two semis don't overlap with anything rugby related. So that's good news. We have got there 2 more tries. Send England a reset. Brun in Glasgow accent for Brown. I might just call him Brown. It's probably easier than offending the whole of Scotland. We have got there, Hamish, have you eaten something? You've been up since yesterday? I had something yesterday. What did I have? Something about lunchtime. Toast, maybe. Might have been it. And we have got there Macbeth, says Ruth. And dirty England players, says Digal. As a South African watching England lose is always great. Says LB can see Scotland running away with this. I hope this news ain't true. Scott Robertson might be a part of South Africa coaching staff, says Timothy. Do you prefer the Six Nations or the Rugby Championship? I actually don't have a preference. I like them both. They're both different in their own unique ways. Thoroughly entertaining both comps. So for me, like, it's the best of both worlds, the fact that we get to cover both of them on the channel. The only advantage, I'd say, is some of the Rugby Championship games are on at decent hours, but then saying that, the Six Nations, you know, when you get a morning game on a Saturday morning, it's a decent hour anyway. So, yeah, I like them both. Typical Scotland, this is why they'll never be a great team, too inconsistent. It's nothing new that they beat England. It's the only game they'll ever wake up for. Ireland also looking flat and one-dimensional in the earlier game, and the mighty England says, how's it? And we have got down from Cape Town. And Pollock gets a great talent. And ref is the worst, says Ant. And wait till Pollock gets to South Africa, he is going to cry, says Pix. Yeah, that's been the obsession that I've heard quite often, is the fact that South Africans want to break Pollock. So I just hope that that's like done legally and there's not some sort of cheap shot, because or else that would be quite sad. Like at the end of the day, like the talking on the field should be done with the rugby played. But yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing him head there for this year, just because he's the one that everyone's watching out for. Whereas you got guys like Arundel, how if they go under the radar, they can really punish the opposition. What about the new competition, Nations Championship, Six Nations Rugby Championship mix? I mean, it's pretty much the November internationals and the July internationals that we already have, just with a final included. I don't like the fact that it has to be a North versus South one, rather than Like the fact that like it can't be 2 from the south or 2 from the north. Pollock is a cocky kid. Quagga is humble, says Sue Walsh. Pollock is still young. At the end of the day, Quagga, he's had time to be able to grow his game and develop. Like, it's one of those ones, like, people go, oh, he's cocky. And they say it like it's a bad thing. But, like, if he's confident in his ability and he backs it up on the field and he adds a bit of personality to the game of rugby, I don't see anything wrong with it. Like, and at the end of the day, doesn't that make it better when you get to beat him? If a guy's cocky, it's like a heel, you know, in terms of wrestling, or in the UFC, Colby Covington, sorry. Like, everyone hated him, but they were paying to see his fights, and he would fill up the stands, and everyone wanted to see what was going to happen next. And I feel like that's a little bit similar to what we're seeing with Pollock. How people will say we don't like him, but they want to keep watching him play because they know he's going to do something entertaining. Funny thing is, you would all love it if Pollock was on your team. Keep crying. That's something, someone brings a new energy into the sport, says a Evil Nation. Oh yeah, I've got there. I like Pollock, says Martin. Are you angry you don't read my message? I've missed a lot of messages, Mohadeen. I'll go back and read it. Did you see South Africa won the cricket? Yes, it has been talked about, and we have seen it many times. But thank you for the reminder. Big Scotland fan and can't watch as in Tanzania. He's been the best and worst player so far. Okay. Worst player seems harsh straight off the bat, but I'd probably say Scott Cummings. But he wasn't that bad. Like, it could have, like, you know, it's been all right so far. Best player. I'm watching a bloke who's dressed as a minion doing ice skating at the moment during this halftime break. And I'm utterly confused. But best player for Scotland. Oh, he almost fell over too. He didn't manage to nail it. Hugh Jones has been solid. Kyle Steyn also doing very well. So I'll probably go with one of those two. Finn Russell's been very solid in the 10 jersey as well. I would get some South African built on. Pollock facing African power is going to be humbling for sure, says Red. Just at international level, because the last time that we saw him face a side in terms of like URC and Champions Cup level, his side won by about 50 points. But I've been told by South Africans that game didn't count. It's only the international game that counts when it comes to Pollock up against the South Africans. We have got there, Pollock, bring your nappies, says Pix. And also we got there, Hamish. It's not easy to moon yourself. I worry for Pollock. He is too young to have that much negative attention going against him. The I told you so Lords will fry him as soon as he hits a snag. I think the biggest problem as well is there's been a lot of fake news written about him. Like you see on Facebook all the time of people like putting fake quotes out. So then people hate him because of what he said, but he hasn't said anything. You know, it's like that whole thing about how he said about like no one knows where the F New Zealand is, which is a quote he's never said. And now all the Kiwis like, oh, when he comes here, we're going to beat him up. And it's like, really? Like from a fake quote from Facebook, you're now wholly offended about Henry Pollock. It's the same as like people have misquoted him or even just said random quotes about like him saying terrible things about South Africa, but he hasn't. You know, so it's just one of those ones that people just take Facebook too seriously and read and believe everything they see. It's hilarious. Everyone is talking about him. He's not even on the pitch. He's in all your heads, says Evil Nation. I don't know if I'm blind, but I swear that the ball was never grounded in Scotland's third try. Who got the third try? Hugh Jones got one earlier, didn't he? Which one was the third one? Let me know. Pollock, rugby's too physical for smack talk or snack talk. Pollock is a silly boy, great player, but very naive. And he will be put in his place. So where is his place, out of curiosity? Because at the moment he's world class. So if he gets beaten by South Africa, he's still world class. Because he's, you know, it's a weird one. Everyone's obsessed with trying to humble him and take him down. But I don't know. He's grown on me a little bit. Mainly because of the fact that everyone just absolutely seems to hate him for no real justified reason. Yeah, he's silly, but he's good, says Zane. And we have got there Ben White, Hamish, says Kiwi Rod. So Ben White was the third try. That was the one when Genge messed it up, right? That's ball. Andre Pollard, says Mohadeen. I hope England comes back to F them up, says Ant Plays. Hamish, why are you ignoring my chat? I didn't mean to, although it is cricket related by the looks of that first one when I read the word Devon Conway. But yeah, it's a bit of a long one in regards of a Six Nations half-time break talking about the cricket. And we have got there with Richie Crook. If England go to a power game, Scots could be in for a torrid second half. And Pollock crushes for sure. And also, look, Pollock has fantastic talent, but he embodies all the BS hot dogging one sees in Northern American sports, says Clifton. And Gidjamara completely lost. Yeah, we haven't seen a huge amount of them so far. You think Scotland can get away with win? They're close enough. Like, they're in the scenario here, 14 points ahead. I think if they get another 3, it might be enough. Please start a sign up that says we know about the cricket. Thanks, says Ty. It has been mentioned a lot, hasn't it? Pollock and Prendergast, both overrated players, says South Kid. See, I'll put them in different categories just because I feel like being a forward and being a back is a very different game. No way Pollock is world class. We are misusing the world. He has done nothing in world rugby to be considered world class. Even Sasha is not world class. Says everything gaming. So what would you call him instead? What's your next class down from world class that you're going with? Very good, I guess, is one. We don't like plastic energy in South Africa. Pollock is a good athlete, but he goes missing in big games. Does he? I feel like he's had a few really big step-up games for England throughout recent times. The reason that he can go missing, though, is because he hardly gets game time. He comes off the bench as an impact player later on in the contest. We have got there, who's your favourite, Pollard or Pollock? Very different players. Once again, Pollard off the kicking tee is absolutely sensational. And then you've got Pollock, who's in those breakdowns, getting the steals. Second half of this contest is just about to take place. You guys lost South Africa, though. Should bench Ratchin Ravinja and Jacob Duffy for the next game, bringing Jameson, even though citizens hate that lad. Oh, no, it went way too quick. Where'd that go? Devon Conway, what do you think, Mr. Hamish? I think they'll make some changes anyway. Heading into that matchup against the Canadians. Question as I woke up, did Ireland look shaky? Because that's what I've seen in the headlines. They had a few worrying moments in there. And Pollock is brilliant. Guys much older being grudgeful are pathetic. Says X-Math. How can England not tackle? There is absolutely no reason Russell should have been nailed. Or shouldn't have been nailed. Yeah, he was kind of running in slow motion, as they said, and he just snuck down the wing. We have got there, can England bring on a player after the red card? They can. They haven't got an exact switch in terms of a winger off their bench, but they do have Finn Smith, so he'll go on, I would say, in the 10 jersey. George Ford will go into the centres, and then maybe they'll go Tommy Freeman out onto the wing. Henry Pollock is a great player, and there's too much hatred towards him for nothing, mainly from South African fans. I hope he's able to be big enough impact in this game. Says Ant Place. And what's your prognostic for Wales-France? It could get ugly in that game. I think that France are going to be in for a big one. Roy red card for England. It was Henry Arundel's second yellow. He ended up taking out Kyle Steyn in the year. I guess they are good players. We say they are world-class. Then do we say about the likes of DuPont, Colby and others? They are also world-class. They're just showing the highlights package of the T20 World Cup, and that is still to come. Plenty more action in that one. We have got there, who's your Valentine, Hamish? Hope you at least sent her a gift. I have no Valentine. I'm by myself in terms of relationship-wise for Valentine's Day. But we've done about probably 10 hours of streaming on this day, so we've been keeping productive. I don't even want to watch Wales versus France, says Inquisitor. Pollock versus Peter Steff, he'll get destroyed. Peter Steff's injured. He's not going to be playing throughout the rest of the year, by the sounds of it. Tom Curry says dunk. And we have got there, how long is the red card? They've got another 18 minutes left, by the sounds of it. If England lose this, I think France will have the Six Nations basically won before their second game, says South Kid. And Tom Curry. Hope you spoiled your mum, says Mohadina. I've actually hardly seen her today. She was out for lunch with the family. But that was while I was away coaching cricket, and then from there, I've been home pretty much streaming ever since. And clear sky, says Daryl. Crazy thing is Prendergast tackling looks good compared to England, says Brong Chopped. What's wrong with Peter? Ended up with, was it the surgery in his leg? Maybe? We have got there, France will win the big time 65 plus. He is a breakthrough youngster, yet prove himself in a World Cup, says Sue. Oh, there's still time. At the end of the day, like, he will get opportunities. He has won something as an under-20 champion, I believe. But, of course, like, the World Cup seems to be the one grade that a lot of people base it off. Okay, they're just pretty much saying it's remaining as a yellow there. But they are still going to have him off the field for the 20 minutes because it was his second yellow. I think we're lucky to keep France under 50 points. Yeah, if they keep it low, they'd be relatively happy. Will Peter be back for the World Cup? He should be, but he's just out pretty much for this year. What is world class to you, Hamish? Says everything. Says Gaming T. Says everything Gaming T. Oh, for me, the guys are at the top of their clubs. Like, and I know people go, oh, that's not world class. They're just quite good. But at the same time, like, at the end of the day, it's all down to interpretation, isn't it? And I think that every single player who makes it on the professional international stage is world class, because at the end of the day, like, to be playing professional rugby and to be playing for your country, you have to be the elite of the elite. They don't just let any mug put on a jersey. You have to be there, and you have to be competitive all throughout your career, and that's what these guys are. Are you taking the job for Peter this year? No. I'll leave that to someone else in the loose forward trio rather than me taking to the field. We have got there chicken tikka masala is invented in Scotland, says Gal Mac, and we are just hearing some bagpipes in the background at the moment. Sione Tuipulotu running this one forward. On back to the right-hand side. They can score again now during that 20-minute red card period. They'll be well and truly in it. Most people prefer humble players and people. England will have to eat humble pie like Wales, says John. And that's where some people at the moment, I know that the other player who gets compared to Pollock is Sasha in terms of that South African 10 jersey. And people, it's an interesting one. It's pretty much the North feel like Sasha's the cocky youngster and the South feel like Pollock's the cocky youngster. It's kind of like both have to have one in a weird way. Tackle the like button. Pollock will learn he needs a few snot, says Sue. And AB's dream to have a Springbok on the chest. Your rugby knowledge is ridiculous. I didn't even know Peter Steph was injured and I'm a South African. Yeah, injured in Japan by the sounds of it, unfortunately, for Peter Steph. But it's a massive shame because I really wanted to see him play the New Zealand tour of South Africa. I feel like we want to see the best possible players out there, and Peter Steph's right up there. Scotland, says Calmick. But now this one's rolling forward. Only 42 minutes into this game. Just looking around for subs that have been made. There aren't a huge amount that have been made for the English as of yet, but there's another knock on. Those boys are dropping the ball every 5 phases at the moment. And go on, Scotland, says Johnny there. We all understand that professional sportsmen aren't actually humble, right? It's just part of the game to act humble, says X-Math. Yeah, they're all very media trained. And at this stage, maybe Pollock hasn't had that media training. But some are very good at hiding it. Maro Toja just dropping that ball on the ground. Scotland doesn't want to win the Six Nations. They just want to beat England. Says short videos. Yeah, the thing is, if Scotland win this game, that really drastically affects England's chances of winning the Six Nations competition. That game up against France in the final round, it may be for nothing depending on the way that it sits. Now we have there, Scotland doesn't want to win the... Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? And also, Henry Pollock love his energy, says Ruth. And ref given out to the forwards. And has the new coach for the AB's been named yet? Kind of. So you've got the situation of Jamie Joseph's pretty much confirmed, but it's going to be announced more so next week. And you can say it twice, so I still don't know what it means. I want to beat England at ping pong. Do they have some pretty decent ping pong players in England? All right, both sides is getting a little bit of a warning at scrum time here. Where's old mate Joey? Joe Marler, I assume that is, that you're talking about. Craig is a Gaelic name. Can Scott's confirm this meaning? Is it Craig? And while Scotland know that putting 100% into each game would be disastrous, we don't have the squad depth, so we try to peak for certain games, says X-Math. Now Ben White, to feed this ball in. And what are you going to say next? Tell us. No idea, really. And I'm less focused on commentating, not answering questions. Scotsman in Indonesia and can't watch, says Greg. So we will try our best to keep it updated. We've had quite a few stoppages. We've only had 3 minutes of the second half. And we're getting another talking to from Nika Mushakala, who is calling over both captains now. Knee collapsing. Okay, next scrum is going to be a yellow card for Scotland. So I think England actually have to back themselves to go for another scrum here. But it looks like George Ford might go for the 3 points. Yes, they are. This is the wrong mindset from England. I think that 3 points doesn't really do a huge amount for them. It uses up a bit of time, but get that scrum going. They've dominated it all game. Next one's a yellow card. Why on earth would you go for 3 points? I haven't had Biltong in a week. Says so. George Ford to line up. It is an easy 3, but I just feel like the way that England have been going, they have to be aggressive here. And yes, Craig is Craig. I don't necessarily agree with you, but I understand your way of thinking because remember, we also have national rank 20 and more other players there would, or national rank 20 and more other players there world class. Okay, so you're saying you have to get to a certain cutoff and then you're calling players amateurs? Or at least the next level down? But like anyone inside of a top 15 team, like at the end of the day, there are many rugby players in this world and most of them fail. Sad reality. Like to be at professional level, no matter what country you're playing for, you are the best of that country. You can take down our scrum, but you'll never take our freedom. Says Inquisitor, that kick has gone over from George Ford. That now makes the score 24 points to 13. And negative in England, they aren't the real deal, says John. Yeah, I'm quite surprised by their choice there. Definitely because of that last warning. And England would have heard Sione Tuipulotu be told by the referee, any more of that and you're going to the bin with one of your players. Like as in, or your scrum, one of them is going to the bin. Now rolling this one back again from Alex Mitchell. Going up and knocked back by Kyle Stain. Slapped back one more from Tom Jordan. Do you think Jamie Joseph is a good coach for the ABs? It seems like he's going to be the coach. We don't actually know as of yet, though, in terms of whether or not he will be a good fit for them. We'll wait and see if the players like him. Now Sione Tuipulotu running forward. 40 metres out from their own line. Here's Scotland. They need another try soon. Why are this messages going so fast? My message is not being read this morning. Yeah, there's a lot of people going on about Henry Pollock at the moment, which is the one that's probably filled in the gaps, which would normally be blank in the chat. And forward with his kicks and drop kicks. You are the best of the country. Well, you're not world class. Let's get that right. Well, we can agree to disagree then, because I'm still of the belief that anyone in the professional game who is inside of, let's go top 15 sides around the world, they'd wipe the floor with any amateur player anywhere because they are world class. But I can see we're not going to agree, so we might as well just say, we'll go, you say your one, I'll say mine, and we can move on rather than going on about it for 40 minutes. Tommy Freeman now running forward. Now Mitchell, back across to the right. They've just said there, Tommy Freeman scored a try in almost every single Six Nations game over the last 2 years for England. Oh, a little bit of a fumble out wide from Tom Roebuck. That's his first carry in a very long time. 46 minutes in. Fired back there, Joe Hayes. And forward passing. So here's Duncan. Oh, that's isolated. But the player hasn't rolled away. Sione Tuipulotu just couldn't quite get out of there. And go Scotland, one more try fast, says Martin. And Jamie Joseph doesn't need to be liked by the players to be a good coach, says John. Scott Robertson wasn't liked by the players. He got sacked with a 74% win rate. That was the main reason he got sacked, was because the players didn't get along with him. But George Ford now kicking this one into touch. And another chance here for England. I think Jamie George would be a good coach. I think he'd go all right. It depends on who he's got around him too, though. Like, of course, it takes more than just the one coach to be able to get a really good international coaching base going. Now, line out throw for Luke Cowan-Dickey. 9 minutes remaining on the Henry Arundel red card. The maul again. This time it's moving more sideways than forward for the English here. Matt Fagerson has made his way onto the field for Scotland. They have to make sure they get rid of this out of the rolling maul here, England. As they could end up with it stuck in there. Mitchell sells the dummy, tries to pass on the outside, hangs on to it though. Going across. Now going to the right-hand side, George Ford. Tommy Freeman. He's continued to score tries for fun for a majority of the time. Can he get one in this game? It would be a crucial one too. Here comes Alice Genge crashing at the defensive line. 5 metres out, and there's going to be the advantage. Knock on again in the breakdown. It generally is right. But there are countries, cough, Canada. Selection isn't based on picking the best available player, says Burns. And does all the bad players go to the NRL? Normally the good players from rugby union get taken to the NRL and they make $1 million a year. But one day rugby may be able to compete with those contracts. Like the NRL have money to throw around, it would seem. And the Rugby 360, it's going to come in and take a lot of international players out of the equation as well. And come on, Scotland, says Stephen. And does all, oh no, I read that one. And Canada aren't in top 15 though, right, says Inquisitor. Yeah, I think they're about 20th ranked or somewhere around there at the moment. Right, Nathan McBeath is making his way off the field now. So that is going to be for Pierre Scorman. Currently there are 31 minutes remaining in this match. The point separation is 11. In terms of the odds at the moment, Scotland are still considered favourites. $1.57 to England's $2.30. That's not a massive difference. Although sides at the moment. And go Scotland, push up the pace. Coaching in New Zealand has become a sacred ground. Anyone who comes next must proceed with caution. Is Ford getting found out yet? I think that him and Mitchell have kicked the ball away far too often. And NRL makes more money than Super Rugby, Top 14, Premiership and URC combined. And if American football gets the funding of the NFL, then we're all cooked. Come on, Scotland, bring on Scoomman. He is now out there on the field. They have just brought him on. It is a 5-metre scrum feed here for Scotland. Do you like box or ABs more? I like both of them. Like, I'm from New Zealand, so I'm supposed to have that bias, but I really don't have it. We've covered 2,300 games of rugby on the channel, and a lot of those we've called directly down the middle, so you kind of get used to not really having a team, per se. But no, both very entertaining teams to watch, both world-class sides. Sorry for using world-class again, I'll get told off, but yeah, both very good teams in the world of rugby. Now, scrum feed here. Big push from England. They did win that scrum, but England not quite getting the ball. Scotland firing it out the back beforehand. Have I missed out? Says William there. 30 minutes remaining. England are still in this game, but it can change. Come on, England. Says 0 point. Now Ben White downfield. Can you do the haka? Not very well. Oh, nice step from Freddie Stewart. Oh, ball stolen in the breakdown, but then the knock on from Xander Fagerson. The voice tried to disappear there too. The Canadian women's team would beat the men's team, says Jan. And Scotland are hungrier, says JD. And go Scotland, says Pix. And there too. Now another scrum. England, they will work their way towards a penalty advantage here, I would think. And the next penalty advantage at scrum time, the referee did say someone will be going to the bin. I was reading all the British press and podcasts that England were now in their rightful place as the dominant rugby force in the Northern Hemisphere. What's going on here? They're having an off game, just like every side around the world has. England have looked pretty shaky in this match, and Scotland were really strong from the get-go. But I think what we've learned from the Six Nations competition is nothing is for certain. Bevan Rod sniffing some smelling salts by the looks of it. Him and Henry Pollock are firing themselves up. I didn't even know that players did that. Interesting. I've never seen players do that before, but they were doing some smelling salts to try and get themselves kind of fired up and ready to go. We have got there, go Scotland, says Cal Mack. Looks like Dave Cherry will make his way on as well. I'm actually Scottish, but my from the bottom half down, says Cool Story. Must our Springboks worry about the English? That's the general international pundits' view. I mean, it's the match that's going to get talked about a lot. Definitely if England do win the Six Nations. But I think we're too early to be worrying about it just yet. We've still got the whole rest of the competition here. The Boks have still got their July internationals. The English tour, the New Zealand tour coming up too. And come on, England, turn it up. You've got Ireland and France next. A couple big games around the corner for this English side. Come on, Scotland, says James. Now Alex Mitchell ready to put it in once more. There's been a lot of stoppages throughout the second half, ladies and gentlemen. Probably about, I'd say, of the 10 minutes that we played, we're probably at about 6 minutes of stoppages. There's going to be the advantage now in favour of England at scrum time. So this could be the yellow card. Tommy Freeman, two-man tackle on him. Finished off by Hugh Jones. Now back across. I'd say that Bevan Rod's probably coming out onto the field in the very near future then, with the fact that he was warming up with Pollock on the sidelines. Now real Warriors France, says Eugene. Off to the right-hand side, Maro Itoje. George Ford now passes one more on. Freeman can't quite pierce the gap. Scotland's defence in this game has been very, very strong, I would call it, really. It hasn't left a huge amount of gaps. How's Ireland doing? They've managed to win up against Italy, but they made hard work of it. They're still playing scrum penalty advantage here in this case, which I believe would still bring a yellow card. Now Bedell steps back inwards. Right, the advantage is now over. Mitchell goes to Ford. Skip pass to Ellis Kenj. Having some solid carries throughout this matchup, mainly in the middle of the park. Thinking about the ball on the outside. Big driving tackle on Freddie Stewart. 8 phases in. Kenj is slow getting back up now. But it looks like he's ready to carry again if he has to. Going into contact. 2 in a row for Kenj. Ball still there for Alex Mitchell. Pick and go from Tommy Freeman. Looking for the steal there. Scotland don't get the turnover. Free doesn't even look towards that whistle. Mitchell back across to Ollie Chisholm, who was having a bit of a fumble before he was tackled by Gregor Brown. Now Maro Itoje. It's a bit of hard work here for the English forwards to try and find their way through. Oh, they're going for a drop kick. What are they doing? It's charged down. They deserve to lose. Here comes the counter-attack from Scotland. That is awful from England and disastrous in this context of the game. What a stupid play. Now Scotland score though, and that's probably the win being gifted to them too. Gregor Townsend sips the coffee and says, yep, we just did that. And Ireland 20, Italy 13, says Messi fan. And Italy beat the Scottish team. Ireland look badly prepared right now. Ford kicks the game away, says Dunk. It's just awful. What's the point? You're down by, how many were they down by at the time? Down by 12. Gets them down by 9. They've hardly had any attacking chances. Just because you're not going forward doesn't mean you don't keep trying. What are England doing? Games like this makes me feel like it's all rigged. Our 5-point winners. We're back in this race and told you Ford ain't got it, says Joey. We've got the try has been cleared. Scott on holiday in New Zealand, very nervous. England's son-in-law, furious apparently back in Hampshire. Tell you what, he'll be more furious now with what we've just seen there. A side down by 12, going for a drop kick. Full field try for the opposition to secure Scotland more than likely the game here. There goes England's Grand Slam, says Ant. Yeah, it opens up the door now for the French to be big favourites for the Six Nations. Hugh Jones, the man who manages to score it. I get Finn on sharpish, says Dunk. Right, George Ford throws a bottle off the field. Borthwick looks frustrated. Scotland smash England. Media fans hype, says Dazza. I live by Twickenham and I can hear the noise. Not like Metallica or Rihanna, cat singing, says John. Oh, drop ball there. Picked up now by England. I do see the changes. No, the changes haven't been made yet. Oh, that was a knock on from Bevan Rod on the ground. So if they do score here, England, they may go back and check that. Game over for England, says Kiwi Rob. Unless they score right now, which, to be fair, they were looking like they had a decent chance of doing up until they decided to be silly and kick that ball away. Ball's still there, though. 25 minutes left in this contest, 31-13, the score at the moment. Is Henry Pollock out, and does England have a chance? He's not on the field as of yet. They've got Tom Curry out there. Bevan, Rod and Pollock both making their way on in the very near future. Ball's there again. It's good discipline at the moment from Scotland. Giving away a lot of penalties when it comes to scrum time, but they have been very good when it comes to the offside line. And being behind it, run from Freddie Stewart out wide, tackled by Jack Dempsey. Still moving forward, still a man down, that is true. Which makes that decision of going for a drop kick even more concerning from England. Mitchell moves it away to the left, short ball from Ford. Clean out there in the breakdown, bit of a cheap shot from Genge, also holding the forearm on the neck of Tui Pilotu on the ground. Now offload there, moving closer. Rory Darge, this is such an open opportunity, and he wins the penalty for Scotland here again. Well, 31-13, Scotland with a comfortable lead. What have I missed, says Josiah? There's been a lot. And Ford needs total forward dominance and a complete greyhound back for a safety. Our first game to work. I'm still nervous, but let's hump England. What does that mean, Calman? So I'm still nervous, but let's hump. So you're saying Scotland's going to hump England, right? Or is that like a terminology, like hump and get back into the game? I don't know what you mean. Pollock on, says Blue. It does look like the change is about to take place here for the English. They have got 3 changes, in fact 4, that are all taking place now. And Rod, says the Blue. And also Jamie George. We have got there's this decline of England. Probably not. It's an off game. Scotland, Ireland both had off games in the first round. Wales, I guess you could say, had an off game too. England have had an off game in the second. So did Ireland in a way, but they still managed to get the victory. It happens. Form's one of those beautiful things that goes up and down. But I definitely wouldn't write them off against Ireland next week. Scored the last try for Scotland. It was Hugh Jones who managed to score that one. And come on, Bravehearts, bury them with a few more tries, says Joe. And Super Play England, more reason that the Springboks won't be worried, says Mornay. Hump means to beat heavily. Okay, hump means something very different here in New Zealand. Normally it doesn't involve a beating alongside it. But currently 23 minutes left. Line out throw here for Scotland. And Scotland will beat the All Blacks before 2030. People will write off Ireland more than they would England, says James. Dave Cherry throws it in. Taken there at the front of the line out. So they just went for the 3-man option. Matt Fagerson. Really, I wonder if England can still win this. I think they had to score right when they were looking like it before. Like as in after the drop kick even. Just, oh, nicely done. And the ball is there for the English. 12 consecutive wins at the moment. It's the streak that England are on. So they will not want that to end quickly. And we have there Scotland. Wish we had 5 games against England every 6 nations. And many meetings, says Messi fan. Oh, trying to slap that one back. It looked like a knock on this time against England. Kicked forward. Yep, knock on from England first. South African, who is a fan of AB's Very Weird Mixture, says Ant Place. And Smith's on. Yep, Finn Smith makes his way onto the field. That is after that red card has expired, which you could say has hurt England quite a bit, but at the same time, I feel like they've hurt themselves in terms of what they've done throughout this game. Tactically, it's been all wrong. And Scotland have really punished them for it. And English so bad today, says Ruth. And what happened to England? They just didn't fire. Scotland early up, 17-0 in this game. England still only getting that 1 try of Henry Arundel. How was the 7s overnight? Says Kiwi Rob. Some close games along the way. But at the moment, Kenya doing well on the men's. And in terms of the women's, there are quite a few sides sitting 1 win, 1 loss. Or in fact, sorry, 2 wins, 1 loss now. France was favoured by 33 versus Wales. Maybe Wales can can squeak into the 33 points in Cardiff. France, huge favourites and thousands of tickets left unsold though. Says Jonathan. Shiny at Princess Anne. She'll be more than happy with what she's seen throughout this contest. And England have been technically shocking. And it's the worst handling we've seen from them quite a bit as well. All this affect the world rankings. I think it will actually do quite a bit of a drop. Rugby World Rankings Calculator. What do we got here? So the verdict... Oh, no, that's just the world rankings. Hang on, I've gone on the wrong one. World rankings calculator. If this game ended the way that it is, England would drop to 4th. And Scotland would go up to 7th in the world, adding 2.55 in their ranking, dropping Australia, Fiji, and Italy all down. We have got the New Zealand Little Scotland bias, says John. New Zealand Little Scotland. Is that what we're referred to as, Little Scotland here? We have got there in Scotland up to 7th. Is Van der Merwe injured? I don't think so. I think they're just resting him, and they haven't really been playing him based off form. George Horne is out there on the field, though. That man has been in great form for the Scots. Now Finn Russell using the back line once more. Hugh Jones goes across to Kyle Steyn. It shows, though, that for Scotland, the consistency of selection has worked very nicely. Are you doing Wales versus France Monday morning? I am indeed, yep. So that is going to be 4 a.m. New Zealand time, taking place in 21 hours. I've also got a few games of the sevens that I'm also going to be covering tomorrow. First game of those, I believe, is at 10:50. I think it's going to be the first match that we end up covering, followed by one at 1:12. And then, of course, the later games at around 3 a.m. Scotland would cement their place as number 1 in English's heads. They work on Monday, I think maybe in the afternoon. And also how much time still left in the game. Still another 21 minutes remaining in this matchup. Getting up at 4 a.m. to watch a battering. Correction, staying up till 4 a.m. because we will be up a lot earlier anyway. And Cook was cooked in Hawaii, and Scotland only lose by 2 points against Italy. People already thinking they're the worst, says Eager. Now still 21 minutes left in the game. That's hit a bit of a crossroads in a way. We're waiting for the next moment that either Scotland get themselves a chance, because they've had not a lot of attack here, Scotland, but England, given them that 7 points recently, has certainly helped. Now we have got the MO Super Brewers looking good, says Craig. Do you know what I've just realised? This won't be the end score, but my prediction at the start of the game was 31-15 the other way around. And I said that sometimes I have a way of jinxing sides. It's almost going to end up as that score in reverse. Another advantage here to England at scrum time. Right, they've got themselves the penalty now. And this is going to be, I believe, a yellow card. Or at least it should have been. Referee did give the warning about it. Okay, official warning number 2 at the scrum time. Amisha Kelly has just said anything more from here is a yellow card. I'm surprised England haven't opted to go for the scrum again here then. Get a player off the field. There's the effing joke, says Ruben Russ. And what sevens the Blitzbox are of it can't bend. So the women's sevens have got a couple games coming up. But the first one we're covering for them is Argentina at about 1:20 a.m. New Zealand time. Coming to England, says Rusty Pig. Now going off to the right. Mitchell. The middle of the field finds Tommy Freeman's hands. Still looking to get this one moving forward at the moment, England. Chance of being able to score. 10 metres out from the line. And into the final quarter. Mitchell almost went through. He's knocked it on again. It's just knock on after knock on at the moment. New All Blacks coach announcement on Monday, which sounds like it is going to be next week at some stage that they do officially give the coach's job out. Did you watch South Africa versus New Zealand in the T20? I didn't get to, but I did get results coming through all throughout the stream. So I know what happened in that match. 12 wins to end, says Timothy. I have to get the ball away quick. What you make yourself in chat for breakfast, says Kiwi Rob. Oh, probably just toast again, really. Hanley is 9 from England throughout this contest compared to the 5 that we have seen from Scotland. What is England's current winning streak? Which is about to come to an end. 12 matches they are on at the moment, the English. And unless they're able to score themselves 3 converted tries in the very near future, that is where it is going to remain. Or that is where it's going to end, in fact. Now, George Horne. And it goes. And off to the right-hand side. Finn Russell goes for the clearing kick and bounces it into touch. The ref knocked that ball on. Sears washer dryer. And Mitchell and Ford have had a shocker. And England's not doing well, just like Wales, says Mohadeen. And hello from Sydney. Welcome in. It's currently 5:10 a.m. for yourself. But if I am correct, a very early morning start for you. Scotland, England's kryptonite, says Greg. Back across to the right-hand side they will go. Well handled again here. Almost a steal. Yes, it is. Scotland get the ball back in the breakdown once more. Now back across Pierre Schoeman. Going to the right. Oh, that's off the side of the boot there, but it might just stay in the field of play. Yes, it does. Great take from Kyle Steyn under the high ball as well. That's somewhere that Scotland's really done well. It's Kyle Steyn's high ball ability as well as a couple other guys going up. Oh, that was a bit of a miscommunication there from Scotland. Two men ending up in the same place at once. Now moving away to the right-hand side. Rory Darge, he's had a big game. Couple crucial turnovers for his side. Finn Smith makes the tackle there. Now Pierre Schoeman. Tackle round the halfway line. The crowd react to him with the ball in hand. How's the weather in Scotland? It's actually been a great day for the rugby by the looks of it. They haven't had too many issues. No rain that I've seen either in this one, which is fantastic. Box kick again from George Horn. Steyn goes up for it that time. Doesn't quite take it cleanly. Oh, that's great. Strength shown initially from Ben Earl, but then he is wrestled out. And will now be the line out for Scotland once more. 35 degrees and hot. I would die in the heat, says Johnny. Can I ask a question? Depends on what your question is, Mohadeen. As sometimes it's a bit 50-50 with what you ask. I listen to you while watching women's curling at the Olympics. And England have lost composure, and I'm loving this, says Cal Mack. And Scotland first the ball on most occasions, says Eric. And I was hoping England could get a grand slam this time. Now they can say goodbye to it. Yeah, now it puts a lot of pressure on that last game. They pretty much will have to guarantee a win up against France. They do want a chance of being able to win the whole Six Nations comp. Did Scotland ever win against the Springboks? I think so. I think they have. It was a wee while ago though, wasn't it? I just woken up in New Zealand and I can't believe the score at the moment. Come on, Scotland, says Alan. And England is going nowhere, says Timothy. And now the rolling maul. It is going forward here for Scotland in the hands of Dave Cherry at the back. Someone's rolling headgear is also stuck underneath this maul, getting kicked around all over the place. All told to get out of it, England. How does England win the Six Nations from here? Win all of their games from here on out with bonus points, and they will be right close to being able to do it. But it's reliant on what happens for France. If anyone else beats France in this competition, it opens up that door. Scotland beats South Africa in like 2002-3, says Justin. Around the side, no penalty advantage in favour of Scotland. They're working their way towards 40 if they continue in the way that they're going. Now George Horn, cross to Pierre Schoeman, two-man tackle, Pollock and George making that one. Now across to Sione, Tui Pilotu. Horn, back across again, and Matt Fagerson tries to spin 2 metres out from the try line, which could be the win for Scotland, even more of a margin in their favour. Going back for the original penalty though, try Scotland win. Says Josiah there. How's Tom Jordan playing? We're surprised he got chosen at fullback ahead of Blair Kinghorn. He's been going not too bad here. Tom Jordan, a little bit of push and shove there between the sides. Frustration now starting to appear here for England. Although I do think that the frustration probably hit them a long time before this. Scotland must not defend this lead. Take their foot off the gas. Go Scots. Well, at the moment, they have got themselves that bonus point, so points differential. Something they'll be working towards now. There you go, crash for the English. Says Henny. We have got there. Do you think England play next, or who do England play next week? They are playing up against Ireland. So a big game at Twickenham Stadium. They will want to bounce back. 15 minutes now left on the clock. I will mention anyone who is new to the channel. We have got, I just realised, about 900 people watching, which is absolutely incredible. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are back for all of the Six Nations, including Wales versus France tomorrow. Now, it may be a one-sided affair in that department, but we have got the games next week on the channel as well. We've got Super Rugby, some sevens too. And currently, we are only sitting around 250 away from 79,000 on the channel. So be sure, if you haven't, to hit that subscribe button. Dave Cherry now rolling this one in the right direction towards the try line for the Scottish. Who's in there? I think that's maybe Guy Pepper, who's trying to slow that one down. In fact, no, that's Alex Coles. It's not going to matter, though. They are just short of the try line here, Scotland. The ball is there, picked up. Looks like it was almost held up, but again, just narrowly short of the line. So many options. Trying to jump on that one. That was an interesting choice. He's offside there from miles away for one of the English players. That was actually quite cynical. He went to jump on the ball, pulled out of it, and then still made the tackle from an offside position. But I don't think they've looked at it. And I said they're still going to continue attacking here, Scotland. I don't think it's going to cost them because they are right on the verge of getting themselves the try here. Around the side, once again, just 1 metre out. Looking for it is Matt Fagerson. Passes across. Good goal line defence from Henry Pullock. Just stop Scotland from moving forward for just that little bit longer. Now still 1 metre out. 8 phases in a row now for Scotland. Round the side again. And a penalty awarded to England for in off the feet from Scotland. Now we have got there, how fair has the ref been from 1 to 10? 1 being unfair and 10 being fair. He's been all right throughout this game. It could have been worse, I think. And we have got, yeah, come on, Scotland says Inquisitor. And if you're already a subscriber, make a new account and subscribe, says Inferno there. You're just jumping straight in off the feet. The breakdown for Scotland on Watch TV is this game, or TV channel. It's Sky Sport 1 here in New Zealand. And sealing off says Timothy. And there too. But Davison will make his way on for England the final 12 minutes of this contest. If England want a chance at a bonus point, they will need to score twice in the next 12 minutes. If they want a chance of winning, they will have to score 3 times in the next 12. And again, George Ford kicks the ball away. Going up for the high ball. It's going to be knocked on by Roebuck once more. They're going to go back for yet again another scrum. Lucky call. So here's Calmac. Yeah, I think it should have been a penalty against England on the goal line for the man who was offside. I think it was Bevan Rod who was going to jump on the ball, said, no, I'm not doing it, ref, and then ended up making a tackle while grounded. What's your prediction of the final score, Kiwi lad? I had the final score this, except pretty much the other way around. 31-15 is what I went with, but I mentioned it as well that normally when I back a side to win in my predictions, they normally go on to lose. And this has been one of those scenarios how I almost got the right score, just the wrong way around. We have got that's the way you do it. Scotland, very proud of you guys. Harry's doing his best for this English paymasters here. Embarrassing. So here's washer dryer. Although, to be fair, Scotland could have had a yellow card at scrum time way before now. And they still haven't had one in this match. Moshe Kelly, I think, has given them 2 or 3 last warnings. So it evens out, I think, overall. Stick it to them. They are just getting a bit too lippy for me liking. Says Sam. And how do the Scots do it every time against England, yet they get beat by Italy? Yeah, they've now gone 5 out of the last 6 that Scotland would have won up against England. 10 minutes to go through. What do you think the final score will end up? I think we're going to be similar to this. These two sides have hit a bit of a wall here. Maybe one more sneaky try for England, and also maybe Scotland gets one too. But I don't think we're going to have a huge eventful last 12 minutes. Yeah, I think it's just going to be grinding out the victory for the Scottish at the moment. I'm listening from South Africa. Love to listen to you, says Donovan. And yeah, we have got a South African Women's Sevens match coming up tomorrow on the channel. Fun fact, penalty this time goes the way of Scotland at scrum time. So the starting front row for England were asserting dominance. The replacement front row haven't quite been able to do the same. We have got there, keep it up, Scotland. And 10 minutes left, says washer dry. And 11 minutes left, England can make it, but Scotland will defend, says Timothy. Darcy Graham, he's now made his way on for Tom Jordan. Chat, like, and subscribe to the Kiwi Lads for the best rugby commentary, says Johnny. Yeah, we got plenty more coming up. Wales versus France. That game may not be close, but we're going to have a good time while watching it. That sounded a bit weird. Of course, talking about the game. That's why we're having a good time. Dave Cherry now with the line out here for Scotland. Metres for Scotland, says Mohadeen. Currently, they are 20 metres out. Welshman, here you're streaming for the utter battering we are going to be on the end of tomorrow. Yes, we are going to be here for that match. I'm hoping it ends up a little bit closer, but it does look like it could be a pretty brutal game. but we will get to watch every second of it. It's got almost the same as France versus Ireland. That is true. Not a mile away from how that game ended up sitting at the end. George Horn going off to Sione Tuipulotu, popping it across. Finn Russell, skip past to Darcy Graham. He has dropped the first touch of the day for him. But cleaned up by Jamie Dobie. Hamish, you have some bumper, says Cal there. Welcome in, listening from province of Quebec, Canada. And come on, Scotland, says Julie. You know, looking like a bonus point victory is on the cards for the Scottish side. Current score is a great roulette bet. 13 follows 31. 12 follows 21. And we have got there, Scotland has been good, but England gutless, shocking, piss poor. Oh, big driving shot on Freddie Stewart. Yeah, England bare minimum, they need probably those 2 tries. Just get that bonus point. They got the bonus point from their first game, which might help them out a little bit in terms of staying competitive. In terms of the standings, it's going to be knocked on by Darcy Graham. Oh no, it looks like the referee's just going to go with play on. Pass off the right-hand touchline now. They're chasing after it and it just rolls out for England. It's not coming off the boot today. They've actually done terribly when it comes to grubbers, chips and all sorts in this game. Wales can cancel their trip to the World Cup. No, they're still going. They are still there. Best commentary going around, says SoCal. British media and podcasters have serious amounts of egg on their faces now, says Wash and Dry. And best commentary going around. Yeah, underdogs in this game. $3.80 is how Scotland were sitting. Now England to win this game is suspended, as you'd expect, seeing as there is the 8 minutes remaining and a massive difference between the two sides. Come on, Scotland, says Gunnar. Who's your man of the match? I'd probably go Hugh Jones, although Kyle Staines also being extremely strong. Rory Darge has done brilliantly. Happy Valentine's to our neighbours. You won the cricket. We're having this. Kiss, kiss, says Paul. And that's again for your advice, Hamish. Made a real difference in our lives. There's finally a light at the end of the tunnel. What advice was that I gave? I don't remember giving too much advice. Not at least good advice. George Horn, back to George Cherry. That's not his name. Dave Cherry, I should say. Out another penalty. It is against number 19, Alex Coles. Rugby is about the simple stuff, says Sven. I'll go Hugh Jones for the man of the match, says Timothy. Oh, quick tap taken by Darcy Graham. Some nice stepping from the Scotsman. Now 10 metres out from the line. Henry Pollock on the ball. Wins the penalty for England just out from their goal line. Lightning quick, getting in there and ripping the ball away. A Loch Ness Monster is real. I haven't seen Mr. Pollock do much since coming on. Well, you just jinxed it because he's just managed to get himself a crucial turnover for England just out from their own goal line and relieve some of that pressure. Come on, Scotland, says Hard Man. England humbled, says Dazza. And Duan van der Merwe drop for Stain, says Dazza. And there too. And come on, our Celtic brothers. What would you rather have? A Six Nations win in the first, or have a Six Nations win it, first round T20 win? I assume you're talking about New Zealand, right? In general, but fans are only bitter because they've won nothing at the Olympics again, says Eric. See, I haven't even been following the Winter Olympics. I know that it's been happening, but I have no idea what's happened throughout the competition. I also go Hugh Jones, man of the match, says Ian. But yeah, those 2 crucial tries. The one early on, and then also that interception off his charge down of the the George Ford attempt for the goal line. Big run from Henry Pollock, runs straight over the top of the Scottish defence, eventually dragged down by Pierre Schoeman. Now 40 metres out for England here, 6 minutes now on the clock. Ref has given England every chance. The turnover call was now, was out of BS. If England lose, they've got nobody to blame but themselves. Here's Yanko now running down the wing. Chance for Freddie Stewart. Great low tackle made from Darcy Graham. Chops him into touch. We have got there, just need Wales to win tomorrow. Or it'll be all square, says Peter. That's true, isn't it? Then every side would have 1 win, 1 loss. No pressure, Wales, but, you know, if you want to help out the competition and make it very competitive heading into round 3, they've got to get the job done. Why not a little grubber kick? Because I've tried it 15 times in this game and every time it's failed. Why are you not ready? Says Mohaddin. And we have got there, come on, Scotland. Oh, this looks like an injury, though. This is a big concern. Jamie Dobie holding his elbow. It seems like the only way that Duan Whanamurfa will get back in the team at the moment with the form that we're seeing from Scotland. They throw to the back, nicely taken. Oh, no, wasn't ready for it. Player was still making his way off the field. Whereas Pollock, so he got himself the turnover before and then also just had the line break. But outside of that, he's still out there chilling. We have got there, all the home teams have won so far. So Wales have to win. So here's South Kid. Is Maro Itoje a bad captain? I haven't actually seen a huge amount of Itoje throughout this game, and I know that he went off relatively early for Alex Coles, but he goes all right at times by the looks. I love the score from Cape Town. So here's Albert there. And I was saying, the last time you were happy was when All Blacks won 2015 Rugby World Cup. That's just a lie, isn't it? And Maro is absolutely is a bad everything. The United Kingdom weaklings getting help from the referee as usual. Pathetic. Says find your way ban. Now big scrum. Going short side. Breaking off the back. Ben Earl. He's going to be held up by Scotland. And it will be now the goal line dropout. Brilliant defence from the Scottish team yet again to be able to shut it down. Oh. Right, referee just enforcing the whistle there once more. And I only need 7 forward drop kicks, says Eric. I think after the last attempt and the try scored by Scotland, he may rethink the drop kick attempts. Where do some of your features, or why do some of your features look like Simon Dool? No idea. I don't think I'm related. Not that I know of anyway. What is happening over here? This is unexpected. Big time. Like, don't get me wrong. Some were picking Scotland to get a narrow victory at Murrayfield. But not a victory by this margin. Currently up by 18. It does very nicely for Scotland's points differential. They would also get the full 5 points available. Here come England once more. That's a forward pass. Out wide to Henry Pollock. It looks like it's going to be play on just for now. He tries to bump off Finn Russell. Close to the sideline, but stays in the field of play. Ben Spencer back across to the left. That did look like just a blatant forward pass, didn't it? Or am I just seeing things? Now passed on the outside. It will be the try for England. So they'll take that one. 3 minutes remaining here, and they have a chance of working their way back towards the bonus point. Female ref of the Ireland-Italy game. It's the best Northern Hemisphere ref right now. She's killing it. And massive forward pass, says Timothy. Yeah, they're just talking about it now, whether or not they will end up checking this one white Italy forward pass, but not England. And Glasgow is going to pump tonight. Can't hear the English fans singing Sweet Chariot. Are they really not checking this forward pass? The kick's over from George Ford. Are we not even going to have a quick little look? We'll see the replay again. Oh no, they're going to show the other one after the pass took place. It's converted. They're back to the halfway line now, so they can take that one away. And England now have the opportunity, 2 minutes, to get themselves one more try. Even if they don't convert it, they will get a bonus point from this game, and it well and truly keeps that Six Nations competition alive. Arundel needs to be dropped next game for such poor discipline, says Liam. The demise of England, it was good while it lasted. Compensation try at the end with a free forward pass, says Wash and Dry, and Timo Check. Says Ian, although it was all cleared, Cole Stain gets man of the match in this contest. So Hugh Jones, Rory Darge, those two other men who did extremely well. Finn Russell too. It's been solid in the 10 jersey, but it goes to Kyle Stain for his ability under the high ball. And what else he's done out there on the field defensively throughout the half. No Timo Check for England, only for Italy. Oh, that's a drop ball though from England inside of their 22. It's a knock on out wide. I think it was Ben Smith. Well, not, sorry, Ben Smith. It's Tom Roebuck. I meant to say Finn Smith. Nothing lasts forever, says Hardis. Is this unique to the Six Nations that they only check Timo for smaller nations? Not really, no. It seems to be the thing across all the world rugby. South Africa should have played England last year. I would have been bigger gap. Says LT, and fantastic efforts for the Scots. They played with heart today, as always, against their old foe. Yeah, 6 times. They have played recently. 5 times Scotland have won. Watching from Sam Fran, USA, excellent commentary, says Wayno. Thank you very much. Anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coming up in the near future, including the Six Nations just around the corner between France and Wales. And then also next week, we're covering all 3 games on the channel too. Sione Tuipulotu now crashing forward. Scotland would love nothing more than to score one last try with 15 seconds left on the clock. Now back across to the right. And rest for the English, here's JD. Now, Pierre Scorman. Oh, and off the feet, so they've been told to get out of that one. Matt Fagerson. Let's see the bogey ground for England. Scotland just boot the ball out and they win the game. 31 points to the 20. A big win for the Scottish team. Massive smile on the face of Gregor Townsend as his side get back in the right direction for their Six Nations campaign. The scoreline is unbelievable. I didn't see this coming. Says Justin, and thanks so much, Hamish. Great commentary as always. And what a fabulous result. Thanks, Hamish. And that's an upset for the English, says Imagine. And also, now we only need the Welsh to beat the French by 20 plus points. And the end of the commentary was, we could only have a Springboks next, says Ashley. And also, we'd like to see Ireland will win England next week. But Scotland in the streak. And England is dodgy. Oh, and great commentary. Thank you, says Wash Dry. And thanks, says, is it Lick Eddy Split? Or Lickety Split, I believe that would be actually. And well done, Scotland, says Julie. Forward space, face like a spanked ass. Well, it didn't go at all the way that England would have planned for this game. But they just kept on booting that ball away in weird fashion as well. So I'm not sure why they did it the way that they did throughout this game tactically. But once again, brilliant work in the early stages of this contest. Sione Tuipulotu, he looks like he's been through a bit of a battle out there on the field. Got a few wounds to show for it. But Kyle Steyn, the man of the match in this matchup. And Scotland, the team who managed to get themselves that big win. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I've got a little bit of free time straight after this game, so I might even do a review of this match. We'll look through and have a bit of a talk about what happened in this contest. But thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.